A segment where you choose what we talk about every day, the afternoon rundown, the big kahunas. They're locked, they're loaded, they're ready to take your requests, and what a day it is to submit your votes. We had all the memes running. GME, AMC, Roaring Kitty was on YouTube. There was 500,000 people watching him at one point. Very exciting day today, but we'll start off with the futures. Coming off highs here, guys. We did get right back into those all-time highs again, but as you can see on the triple Qs, we're coming down quite aggressively now, so we'll have to watch for an afternoon sell-off, but it was a very, very interesting day here with the first ticker that we've got, GameStop. What a day. Everybody knew that Roaring Kitty was going to be on today at noon, and this one did not lack any volatility. Ran to $67 yesterday in the aftermarket and was trading on Blue Ocean yesterday overnight, and then this morning it didn't disappoint as well. What was your look, guys, on GameStop?
Okay. So before I mention anything about the stock,
reverse roar.
No, before we get into anything about the stock, here's what I'm going to say about that, about whatever the stream was that happened. You will find more entertainment, useful information about what to do in financial markets, about how to conduct yourself in life, how to get yourself better. It's way more value in the first 3 seconds of any one of the clips of the Freedom and Wealth podcast than you will have seen. And I actually don't know why I expected there to be some insight that was worthwhile. But I did. And to be honest with you, I'll tell you this right now in the podcast, when Brendan and Sean are going to give you great and fantastic advice, and I know for a fact that if they gave advice that they felt, oh, you know what, I didn't say that right, or it didn't come out right, or I didn't communicate that the right way, they wouldn't think it's a joke. They'd do better the next time. They wouldn't laugh when a stock they liked is going down, or a stock we recommend and say, this is a good investment. If it went down, I'm not laughing at it. I'm actually feeling bad about that. But at the end of the day, we're here to be positive and give you guys some resources. So make sure, let's get it to 1,000 today. Because I feel like a lot of people, if you were disappointed by today, let's get to 1,000 subscribers, because I know we've got a fantastic community that all supports each other for real, unlike what I saw in that stream. So let's get it going. It's a Freedom and Wealth podcast. We got to talk about GameStop. I'm not going to pretend for a second that GameStop wasn't the worst trading experience for a lot of reasons. Some of it was, if I had done only the regular things that we would do in big cap tech and normal trading strategies, like pretty much everything else was good. But GameStop, there was one good trade today on GameStop to the long side, and it was the initial halt at the open. Yeah. And I think if you had that, you could have just walked away. Ever since that move, it's a trend down. You're going to see a lot of green and red, which means I was only going long, and you're not going to see much separation between the green and red, which means I wasn't actually making much. There was one halt up here, which actually made money, which is the last trade I did, but everything else was a loss, a loss, a loss, a loss. I'm adhering to my stops, but there's just a heck of a lot of them. I'm not bothering to count. It's still trending down. The only positive news I would say is at least somebody's still in the money at 20, because it's hanging on to this $28 level. So the $20 calls are probably good for another couple of weeks. That said, there were no real insights on that on the stream, and it's been essentially momentum down. I got to take a fill, and then you'll see the only position I'm in right now was actually AMC, which at least when it turned short, like that was the $5 level was something. But anyways. That's that. We'll see what happens to this next week. It feels pretty dead today on GameStop.
Yeah, I think it's just going, it seems like it's just going one way right now. I mean, we were sitting here during the whole stream. Look, as Neil said, the morning's the morning. You saw us all trade that. I have some fills up here at 46.50. So I mean that was the first play. Everyone excited. All these little breaks or all the halts. I don't know what the halt counter is, but as we were going, we only had one opportunity to go short. That was when we were going through 36, and we actually made a little bit and got out. But as Neil said, it's just a bunch of stop outs. Like this one at 30 halt up to 32 or 33 when he was showing his account statement there. I feel like maybe for the first time, a couple times maybe he did it, but that was the good bump. And then once everybody realized that he's just like not pushing the button to buy more calls or not really doing anything. I mean, it's kind of like exactly what Neil was saying there. Not about that any of us were logged in to watch the comments and try to educate ourselves, but it would have been nice for him to have said something other than like, I really, really trust Ryan Cohen. Like, I really think he's going to turn it around. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know what else the guy's going to say. And then I was talking with my wife when we went for the walk there, and I said, like, I'm not sure how much for the people this guy is when he's showing a cash balance of $29 million. I mean, the thing is that, like, all of his GameStop positions can blow up to nothing, and the guy's sitting on 30 cash. When you have 30 sheets sitting in the bank, I mean, I don't really...
Of course he's chilling.
You know, are you really the people's trader? I mean, sure, he's got to that level with the stuff that, you know, he's gotten there with. And that was a great run for him. And this is also a great run for him.
That's all.
And, you know, so I tip my cap, just like we do when we play at High Park, you know, hip, hip, hooray, hip, hip, hooray, hip, hip, hooray. But at the end of the day, yeah, put some of that money to work and GameStop goes back upside. I feel like that's what he's going to do. I feel like he's going to have another stream, and then we're probably going to get this happen to us again. And he may do better at that point. But again, what do we expect? Honestly,
it's like I said, I don't know
why
we expect.
Right, he's not trying to say that he's not a registered broker. Like,
no.
He's just doing what he's doing, man. He cracked a beer. I mean, my hat's off to the guy. Like I said,
in fairness, so when he originally was posting, like if you go all the way back to like those early posts on Reddit, like there was a sort of a deep dive into the math and you know potentially what could happen. This is why, blah 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 blah. There was not much of any of that. I think. You know, it is what it is. So it's time to, I guess AMC's next.
Oh, yeah, I was just going to say, yeah, I'm waiting for that one.
Right back to AMC, because this one as well, moving around. Let's go back to Sharif and continue the ride.
Yeah, great segue, Neil. AMC, no specific catalyst for today, but we know it's the sister meme stock of GameStop, so a lot of eyes were on this as well. $5 is a very important level from my estimation on GameStop. I tried to take it long with mixed success. You can see the big kahunas both in it short at the moment right now. Guys, what is the look?
Well, you said it there.
Yeah.
That said, I had a really bad long in AMC, which ruins everything. So it doesn't really, like this is probably one of the, I think it was when he came on the stream eventually. Pretty sure that's what it was. Like the stream was delayed and GameStop was halted down, and then the stream started, which GameStop was in a halt, so AMC starts going up. So like a genius. Okay, fine. This actually wasn't that bad, getting like I think I got 550 something, and then I added to it 560 because I'm getting really excited, like we're gonna halt upside and start squeezing, right? And then, of course, on top of that, I end up punching some at the absolute high, which is stupid. I instantly realized that was dumb, and then trim some right at the high. So like right when it goes into the halt. It then opens up, looks like it's about to break out again. I end up adding those shares back in, again realizing it was stupid, trimming some, and then stopping out underneath VWAP. And then from then I just shorted down under here, like this $5.10, $5 area. I think the sympathy play is probably, it's a relatively easy trade when we get those halts and all that kind of stuff. However, I broke a huge rule today because my sympathy play was in Blackberry. I was short this thing the entire time. And it should have been, like it should be my best stock of the day, except for the fact that right here, not only did I get long in the other names, I covered my short in Blackberry at that same moment. I'm like, oh, we're going squeeze. I convinced myself to abandon my plan and say that we're going squeezing, and I covered my short in black. And I never got back in because I was trying to go long on the other two. Well, not AMC, I was trying to go long on GameStop. And then it just continued to flush. It just flushed all day long. Every single pop in this, without it breaking the high, was a short, and I covered it flat. So, you know, we always talk about sticking to your plan and all of that good stuff. And it really does matter, because if you have a good idea, like I said, I hadn't even lost ever since this GameStop run, shorting Blackberry off the initial top and then just holding it for the rest of the day. That's worked every single time, and I abandoned that plan because I got the whole googly eyes FOMO of GameStop.
We're in a new position, Meta, but if we're going to talk about AMC, first of all, I'm going to, hold on, I got to do some damage here because I got shares on Meta, and unfortunately for me, well, fortunately for me, hopefully this goes down and we'll be able to capture some profits in the 60s here with that name. Okay, So you see we're in position now on AMC. Look, we started the day short. It was really good. It was my #1 stock. Then we went in and out again at noon. Like Neil said, we thought it was going to break higher there. So we actually took that buy and ran that through, only to get stopped out. We got stopped out, but we were punching out. It just, once it didn't go, we started getting out, break back through VWAP. So that's a 30-cent hit. Then the shorts came in and we're still short. So AMC's been fine. GameStop hasn't been. So we should have either stuck with one or the other. We had to pay for both of them. So, all right, Meta. We just got a nice little fill there on Meta. I know Apple's next, and we'll get to that. But right now, we're 50 cents in the money. Come on down, Meta. Just like Neil said, like we're up on Tesla, up on Meta, AMC, Robinhood. They're all right here right now. But let's just find out from Brendan what we're going to talk about Apple, because Meta I see on the docket for 4th. So good trade there. We're now still short AMC. And let's just wait for the bottom. I don't know, 80s, something like that. Here comes in AMC.
WWDC on Monday. Make sure you are with us all day. We'll be reporting about this essentially on every show we have. Worldwide Developer Conference has been the lead up here for the AI story for Apple. We've heard nary a thing from Apple about AI. We've heard some rumblings. Maybe they side with OpenAI, maybe with Gemini. We will find out all that and more on Monday, hopefully. Today, Apple up on the day. Did you guys have a look at Apple?
If we had a look, we probably should have traded it more, no question about that. And in the chat, someone's like, don't beat yourself up so much. The reason I harp on it is because we're all just trying to get better, right? So, when you talk about like the mistakes, why they happen, how they happen, it gives you something to look out for so that the next time you kind of will stick to the plan. Like we'll get to, NVIDIA's not even on the list, but we'll get to NVIDIA.
Meta.
Like NVIDIA was my best stock today. But then I didn't even get the trade I talked about. It was actually chased it a little bit further. Apple, it's a very strong upward trend and a potential double top break. If the market, well, the market's rolling over. So I was going to say if the market can get back up, I think Apple's the one for the long. But everything else is flushing right now because the NASDAQ is dying. Apple going into the event has not yet taken out this previous high on the week, 197. But this is what's happening over there in the NASDAQ, as you can see.
Yeah, we almost just took $1 right there on Meta coming back in. Someone told me, stop messing around with these garbage stocks and go back to some real stocks. So shout out for that one. And there it is, man. We are back in the building as John Travolta goes, man, what the hell are you doing sometimes? So we'll take a nice little win there, shorting 495, back in into 494 there for Meta. Yeah, I mean, look, I had Apple written down on here as the #1 trade to go long today. It's 100% the great call, but we're not in it because, again, we're looking at other things. So there's Apple. It came into 193 off that jobs number. Had a nice dip into the 50 period. That's a buy every single time, but we were looking left, not right. So Apple, I like it. I feel like it sells off on WWDC, but I'm already very, very short the market. I mean, now Meta's a dollar club, right? We just put this one on. So there you go. So we'll go 1 for 1 here in the afternoon. We're holding on to our AMC. We're short Meta. Meta just climbs up the ladder one more time here. And as Neil said, we're not beating ourselves up, man. There's barely a trader that's positive today. So it's like that was a risk that was taken in there. I feel like a lot of us tried to go long. If you went short, great. A lot of traders gave back what they made early on that, including myself on GME. So we just go back and now we look at other things. And if GME continues to move around, we'll be there. We're on AMC. We're on everything. Tesla's #1 for me today. And we're going to go over and discuss Meta as we were just looking at it.
Yeah, Sean, no headline today, but as you can see from that chart right there, a hell of a double top at 499. This one's had trouble with 500 as of late. Again, no specific headline. I tried to take this one long off the 20 period initially. It was a good look, but Sean's in it short right now, and he's in the dollar club. What is the look, Sean?
All right, well, the look is let's get to the downside right now and let's start getting a little bearish action on this. My favorite animal to look at the zoo is the polar bear. So...
Yeah?
Yeah. I don't know. I love the polar bear. I think we've had
I like the big
before.
cat.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. The panther that's there is sick as well. But all right, we get bearish, and there it is right there. Let's props it up. We are now $2 in the money on this Meta trade, and yeah. I mean, I don't know. I'm waiting for lower. I'm waiting for 492. I don't know why Meta's on the run down there. I'm not really. I like the short breaking through VWAP there. I wanted to try a short into what we see here this afternoon. I just feel like the market gives it up. We put it on. We just put it on now, breaking through VWAP. $500. I love Meta. I think it's one of the best stocks that you can own right now. But buy the dips, but that dip is going to hopefully continue the rest of the damn day as we are short right here. Let's go, Meta. I might just put a bid out right here. If we can get this I'm going to cancel the 92.25s that we had down there. See if we can get something in the 80s here. Nice flush down for Meta. It is instantly right there. Doses for that trade on Meta. Take it if you want. Let's see if there's lower move coming here. Meta downside? I don't know, but nice little bounce off 493.
1900 just bounced.
Yeah, 1,000. Yeah, close.
So 19,000 bounced. I'm looking to short pops. Google looks just as bad, but Meta, I still love the stock, and it's still, okay, it was green, but it just turned red. Maybe 490 is a bit of a thing, but I think it's a short the pop situation in the market with what just rolled over. But I'm not going to be in Meta, I don't think. I mean, maybe it gets back into VWAP. That could come into play. I think that's where you want to grab it. Yeah, we'll see what happens. Maybe it does. We bounce off 1900 and gets into VWAP. I'm going to probably play Google off of 176 if we get anywhere close as well. That was a heck of a rollover. There was nothing that actually happened in the market just now. But if you were to look at, I mean, Sean just went over Meta and he's in it, so I'm not going to bother. Like, what's the point? But Coinbase down 3%. Boom. Bitcoin 69, broke 70,000. Mara's getting absolutely destroyed, down 7.5%. Like, there is some serious rollover happening across the market, right? And there was nothing, like, I haven't heard anything in my ear. There was nothing obvious that's causing this turnaround in the market. Yeah, it's probably just a technical breakdown. We sat there and did nothing all day long, lost 19.1, lost 70,000, you know, level like 20 breaks on Amara. It's looking pretty weak in here. I'm going to get on the bid at the low of AMC, only because GameStop is suddenly deciding that it wants to do nothing, which it already was. But if AMC can't break 480 close, then I'm going to take a little bit more out. But I'm going to try short some pops in here. I do like Google, I think, the most because it's very weak. Mara, I want to see how far it can bounce and if we hold on to underneath 70,000 before looking at a short in that name. But ugly, ugly afternoon for a lot of things here today, not just GME.
The SPY next on the list, guys. What a move up initially we had to start the day on the futures. It was really nice, calm, higher highs, higher lows. But as you saw there, right around 2 o'clock, the market really started coming down. And that's why a lot of the Mag 7 names started breaking down here. So good look on this SPY for the shorts, guys. What is the look right now?
I mean, I just sort of was giving my opinion right now. We're now $2 plus in the money on Meta. So, I mean, boom, goes the dynamite down on that one. We still have 25%. 25% of that. All right, AMC continuing to move down. What's the look on the market? I mean, I'll talk about the NASDAQ. I mean, I know you guys want the SPY. We could do that too, but you're just trying to break through 19,000. So this is the level of concern for me. We've talked about this, bounced up there before. Let's see what happens now. Do I like the stock today of the SPY? Yeah, I mean, I'm not trading the futures or anything right now. Just sitting here trading Meta and possibly looking for another downside push. So let's see what winds up happening here. Meta is the name that I choose violence with, and we just did it. So let's wait to see. I think the futures can hold, though, into a Friday. Not expecting a lot of movement, but we got that jobs number. And, I mean, that was just a disaster. I mean, I don't want to say a disaster, but it was a move down. And we didn't even move that far. That's why I have to hold my thoughts there, because we're at 19.1, and the very, very bottom was 18,950. So losing 150 on that was almost nothing. In fact, it was made back and more than that by 10 o'clock. So let's just, like they say, call a spade a spade. Like, this is what it is. It's very strong, the NASDAQ. So I kind of expect it to hold a little bit here. That's why we still have that 25% left of Meta. But let's just see if it goes down. I still like the short here today. Yeah,
speaking of the SPY, just particularly with the SPY, it's a NASDAQ that bounced off 19,000. There was no particular level that we just turned it on the SPY. It just so happened to be this 533.5. Zoom it out even. Nothing terribly significant about where we're bouncing, but I think this is pretty clear. Like, that's a pretty decent upward move that rejected the highs when the number came out. You get a turn and a wick high, maybe some breakouts were looking like they were happening. Apple looked really strong at that point. NVIDIA, I'll get to that in a second, was looking pretty strong. And then you roll it over and lose that steep trend. When you have a really steep upward trend that fails a break like that, it's a Friday, it's the end of the week. You know, we have the Apple event coming in here, the NVIDIA split, reasons why there could be some sell the news. And you just go to rolled over, technically. So if that's going to happen, I think short the pop back into previous resistance makes a lot of sense. And it's going to be hard for this to go anywhere when NVIDIA loses that 12,000 level back underneath 1199, it looks like. And so I talked about the opportunity cost and all that good stuff. So I never actually got the 1200. As you know, because I was looking elsewhere. It was right as the live stream was supposed to be starting. You got this nice little consolidation breakout from 12. At least I didn't compound it by not taking the 1210 break. At this point, I think you look for the over-under at 1200. If it can hold above here, we can, like, NVIDIA can possibly rally back into the top. But if it fails, I think you're looking for a fade trade. I would just prefer to be on something that is much weaker if I'm shorting. Like, look at the difference between Google, which can't even get to like 175.5, and NVIDIA. AMD, which I also want to talk about, can get into VWAP. I think that's not looking very strong either. Underneath VWAP as opposed to over it when you look at NVIDIA. So I think it's easier to look for shorts in things that are already weak.
All right, we're done. Good. Okay. Yeah, start putting some questions in the chat. Should be a good afternoon. I mean, we can still watch. I mean, we'll still watch GameStop.
Yeah, I mean, if it does something.
You know, our accounts aren't locked out, as you know, so we'll be able to trade GameStop here just at 26.27. I mean, looking at this, like, if there wasn't all of the hoopla around, and there is, so that's actually a good thing, right? I mean, it's creating some volume. We've just really, again, if you sort of look back, this is kind of normal behavior. I mean, if you zoom in and you see what's happened throughout the day and all those halts, did you get a count on that, by the way?
17.
17, okay. So besides that, if you just take a step back, this very bottom's 25. Some of these bottoms that have held earlier on in the month are right here, 25, 26, and that's pretty much been, not pretty much been, you know, I can see numbers here, has been the bottom. 26, 26.50, the same bottom that was held before all of this. So whether or not, you know, you went long or lost money like I did throughout this sort of melee there when it was halting like crazy, it's a good thing we didn't use like a maximum position at any point here because you're just hoping something to happen. That long down here is probably something to look at if you get a chance to buy, like forget about like riding on the coattails, but just as a stock, you know, looking on levels, this 26, 27 area, I mean, it's hard to say that there's something wrong with that, going against it and then using the 25 area that we just talked about as potentially an out. So I feel like that makes some sense even going back to the end of last month as well. So at least there we can discuss it reasonably and potentially have some levels to get out. So yeah, I mean, I like GameStop, not the same way obviously Roaring Kitty likes it apparently, but I think down here it's probably worth a shot at some point. We've been red on it. It's our reddest stock today. So, you know, take it with a grain of salt, but I still do think there's an opportunity to buy this. You just got to be smarter about it.
Yeah, absolutely. I just realized we don't have free locates on Mara. So I'm going to go and guess that here at Real Trading, it's going to be 1/8 of 1 cent per share because that's what it always is, to be able to pay for the right. Or the ability, yep, 1/8 of 1 cent per share. So I'm just gonna go ahead and lock that in because Bitcoin is weak and Mara is weak. That said, it was just pointed out in the chat, oh, where is it? I saw someone just mentioning a firm. I'll get you in a quick little second, but it's important, right? If you look at relatively weak stocks, like I'm pointing out things that I think are relatively weak that I wanna try to play this curl on to the short side, hit confirm because I want those shorts. Here's a firm actually curling underneath $30, down 4%. Obviously not good. There's it trying to bounce and failing both the 50 and the 200 or even to get to that point. A lower high got put in, trend down. Yeah, I like that. You can take a shot, short something that is weak. I have Mara now. I'm trying to get into the 50s on Mara. So I'm going to pop the offer in there on a firm. I think that's a great looking one. Mara doesn't even get into the 50s. It just turns right here at 30. So if that wick high is going to be 40, take the curl that you can get, or if you're shorting pops, if you're going long dips in a strong stock, you play the one that you can actually get. You don't always get the price that you want. It's going to turn where it's going to turn. The buyers will show up where they're going to show up. The sellers will show up where they're going to show up. You just have to pick your direction and then get the entry. So if it breaks 40 on Mara, I'm getting out of this. I'll keep an eye on Bitcoin, but it's healthily is not a word. So it's well below.
Oh shoot! What happened?
70,000. I don't know. I really
bet
don't.
it was Roaring Kitty stuff again.
Yeah, like I'm not sure. I can't really draw a line between anything that happened or said on that stream that would actually cause Bitcoin to go down. But if you really look at past 12 o'clock, like it was already, Mara was weak. And you can certainly say Mara was already weak. It was at the low of the day. It accelerated after that. And if I'm going to look at BTC, here, let me bring up a chart of BTC as well, so you can see, because at Real Trading, we have this and others. It was already at the lows and pressing lower. It accelerated at like 1 o'clock. So I'm not really sure what actually caused this big acceleration down. It's in the bit of a bounce. So as long as it doesn't get back above like 69.5, I think there's a chance for these shorts to play back in. NVIDIA might be a different story if it can hold over 12, which it's definitely trying to do. I think Apple's the other one that might be a long off VWAP. Really strong move on Apple today. I mean, look at it hug VWAP. Like if you, let's just imagine this was a regular day. It wasn't. Clearly it wasn't with GameStop. You see at the open, a little bit of a bounce, dips back underneath, holds an easy higher low. But after that, hug VWAP. It's 10:30. You get that dip. You get this one at 95, even $1.95. Either one, you just play the trend. You'd still be in the trade. Now we just got to be patient, wait for it to dip back into VWAP one more time here. That's about it. You know, like I knew today I was going to be trading a lot of GameStop, so most of my executions are going to be there. I made more executions on that by far than anything else. Had it actually been NVIDIA today, I would have had 2 NVIDIA trades and 2 wins, and I wouldn't care what happened in GameStop. But you can't turn back time. Look at the consolidation. Now it's doing absolutely nothing. So we got a firm. We've got Mara. We're still in AMC. I mean, if AMC takes out the low, we'll let you know. But when GameStop is doing this in a 50-cent range, AMC is not going to do much.
Oh, you're long Cardano, eh, Larry? Okay. I like
Okay.
Cardano. Okay, I like that. ADA. All right, so I'm going to average back into Meta at VWAP. I mean, we've already taken it to the downside right there. Pretty good trade getting out at 493.20s or something, maybe 493.12s actually at the bottom. So if it comes back up, we will average it back into it, into 495 and see if that can help. 496 will be our out. That's where the 50-period moving average is. If it goes back up, I mean, we're trying to, you know, we're trying to make money. So let's wait to see if Meta gives us that opportunity to do so. Someone in the chat earlier, I saw, and I own this stock, which is like, this just goes to show you that I'm not like checking my account on a daily basis. And join us on the Freedom and Wealth podcast as we talk more and more about this kind of stuff as well. You know, looking at your different assets and figuring that all out. But like, what's up with that? Oracle right now, I mean, they had a nice move down, and I was like, oh man, I got to just wait for Oracle. But it's been nicely done. And we were buying this name down in the hundreds or low, close enough to 100. I think it was. We don't exactly have all of these bounces, but we had liked some of these levels from Oracle, old tech becoming new again. Nice dumps into 100 and change, and then back up to 130. And then I was like, oh man, we got out, or we didn't get out at all, and we should have. Bounces off to 200, bounces off of this again, and then straight to the upside. And then it was like, wait a second, what they've reported, right? They have not. June the 12th. So Oracle. Sorry, that's Broadcom. Hold on a second. Broadcom was going to be a good trade. We'll talk about that either. June 11th for Oracle. So, I mean, they're coming out next week and with earnings post-market on Monday. So we'll find out what exactly is going on with Oracle, but I don't know. It looks like it might beat to me. So we'll see if Oracle could take out this 126. Maybe today, maybe not. We were already sort of there at one point before dumping off, but still ways away. We'll look for that as a possible breakout. Could have used this as our trade idea for next week, but you know, I like Broadcom. But I like this right here at 125.30. I mean, that's a great level down there.
Yeah, like how about that?
That's what I was saying. It bounced there and there. That's like
How many times do you need to see
I
the
wasn't
200
buying
period?
that. I'm not buying that dip anyways.
Yeah, it wasn't one of the stocks that was
Already
on my
owned
list.
it.
I was like, if I didn't get the dip in like Microsoft, if I didn't get the dip in Meta, like I'm probably not going to put one in for Oracle because it wasn't that high on my list. Oh, the other thing, there was an IPO today. So the way was actually, yeah, again, it's like if you just do all of the normal things that we kind of talk about as day traders that are in the toolbox as a strategy, it opened at 21, actually tested lower, bounced off of a massive size reserve at 20.5. You would have heard Obi talk about it. I probably didn't have enough faith and size down on it and just went long on the way back up. Didn't hold long enough. It's even holding a higher low now. This is decent enough volume at 10 million shares, but if you just waited for that size to show up and then went long once it held, it refreshed. It was about 100,000 shares, got down to right around 8 or 10,000 shares that were left, and then refreshed the order for a little bit of size and never ended up breaking it. When you see that happen, you're like, okay, well, this is an iceberg order. You just go long on the move back up. If you were really quick, you could have punched 55. And then after that, you were getting 65 or 70. I got 70 because old man hands and all that good stuff. What else we got going on here? I don't really see much happening. I mean, the firm's pretty much right where we got it. So is Mara. NVIDIA does look a little bit stronger. It's consolidating over this 1200 level. No breakout, really. Let me just double check AMD. Okay, AMD's not at VWAP. AMD gets to VWAP, I'll probably look for a short in this as opposed to NVIDIA. Yeah, NVIDIA, I think you got to look for the long. Apple, maybe not even going to get to VWAP the way it's going. Still trend down since that top. Hasn't really put in any higher lows yet. If it can put in a higher low, then I don't mind taking Apple long without getting a trade into VWAP. Rivian Millionaire says ARM looks good. Yeah, ARM's been, I guess ARM tanked like everything else. Looks okay. That chart looks way better. Like the daily chart on ARM, if you're looking to buy the dip, just buy the dang dip. That's all I got to say. Because I know I missed my opportunity there. But I still think this is, see, the ARM chart, why I don't necessarily love the long is just the way I look at it. So there's your high, there's your failed break of the high, now you got a lower high. Without the rest of the chip names rallying, like this still feels like a failed breakout with a lower high with an attempt to put in a lower high at a previous support level. I don't like that as being as bullish on ARM. And it's red, it would need to go green. A lot would have to happen for me to like that long.
All right. I'm still looking for some more opportunities. We talked a little bit about oil before. We could look at some ExxonMobil. Boeing trying to bounce off 190. XOM right now 113 and change. Okay, wanted to have a look at that. Not doing much. Maybe the futures. I mean, we could trade the TQs here maybe. I mean, I'm thinking short. I mean, we're underneath VWAP right now. Yeah, 50 period, all of this stuff. This could be something here. Here we go. GameStop's starting to go a little bit now. Bouncing off, again, those levels that we had talked about, this 27, 26, 25 area. So there it goes, trying to make moves higher now as we go. We're almost out. We got a great couple, I mean, as we were discussing the position, and it came all the way back into those lows again for AMC, we started to get out. So those are some decent spots there to get out on for AMC. Who knows where we go from here on this name, but I'm just going to hold it until we get stopped out above 506, something like that, for that stop out. I think the futures might be a decent spot here, sorry, TQQs, as we go. I mean, we're at VWAP. Let's see if the market really wants to go upside now with that jobs report. Does it want to go up or not? I mean, I feel like we're at some decent levels now. We're just holding 19,000. That's the problem, you know, and going short. We held 19,000 earlier. We're holding 19,000 again. So to go short against support, it has to be somewhere, and we're getting close right now to VWAP. So yeah, it could be worth putting something on. I don't blame this trade. I don't blame people that take this trade, I don't think.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't mind the short.
I'm waiting for like the right entries, I think, because I'm going to get to Amar in a quick second. Apparently, someone just said Apple heard you when I was saying it wasn't getting to VWAP. Like 2 seconds later, Apple bounced off VWAP. So I am in Apple now at VWAP, but let me just get to Mara because Mara just came out. There's the consolidation bottom on Mara. It got this little double top at 19.4, so there's your wick. There's me taking the short. There's it breaking out. So I'm out of Mara. When something's down this far, either it holds the trend to the downside or we just get out of its way. So it doesn't seem like it wants to hold that trend. You can bounce, but you got to flush after said bounce. That's what I want to see. We're still in a firm, and a firm looks like it's going to be absolutely okay. And that move up in GameStop is already being faded. Next time a GameStop makes a pop, if I can reload AMC at 5, I'm just going to do it. Because you're not actually holding any of these bounces.
That's the right
GME.
play, 100%.
So it's like, I watched over them like, yeah, whatever, I'm just going to hold. No, you could have just had like 5s again on AMC, just right back at 490. I'm not saying it's free money, but I mean, GameStop's not going up. It
not
just
saying
can't,
it's free money, but it's free money.
It can't hold a bid. Like every time it bounces, sorry, I'm looking at a firm and putting orders in at the same time. Like it bounces, there's another spike up. First thing is it fades. And you could have just had in front of 5 again on AMC when that happened on GameStop.
I took advantage of there of that bump down to AMC. So we're getting almost out of it. We just took a 90 again. It's going to have the opportunity to run. All right, so the futures just made a little bit of a dump down in there, and we were able to take advantage of that and getting an 07 or an 08 print. But here we go. Remember, we're not going to take this too much past all of these levels right here. So like a 67.40 might be the end of this trade if we break above that. You know, some of the worst trades I put on here in the afternoon have stemmed from fighting a trend into the afternoon where we keep on breaking, and then I'm like, well, you know what? There's no way the futures are getting back up to the high. And then we shorted, then we get stopped out. And then I'm like, oh, well, now we're right here. So we're just going to listen to our rules here and just be polite about it. If it breaks above the 50 period, which is like 19,070 right there in the futures, then we're going to get out. Something in and around 67.40, 67. I mean, you want to up it to the 200 period, you could do that. 67.65, also sort of with this dump spot right there where we sort of got meta and we shorted it then. So yeah, we'll ride with this trade now. We're short right here at 18s. Let's see if it continues to work. I don't know, we already got one fill. We should have gone a little shorter. We are waiting to get more up at 40, so like right there, and then give our stops probably a little bit higher than that, maybe 50s or so. So we'll average it in if we're able to get something at this VWAP in 50 period. If not, we have a position now. It's about half of what we want. So let's see where we go. Maybe it's about 35, 40% of what we want. Let's see if it wants to cook here into the end of the day. Our meta trade is just, man. I mean, hopefully we can get back into here. I think we'll take it if we can. 493, I think that'll be a good spot because if meta really starts to tank in, then we will really start banking on our futures, I would think. So kind of a hedge, but not really if they're both the same way, right? So let's get something out on meta if it does dip down back into 93s there.
That said, it's like you take, if you like the individual stock, great, but then if you think the move could accelerate and your stock might have reasons to, like, it fell too far, whatever. Like it's not a hedge, but you can like that continuation play with something other than the stock that you're in. I know there's a trader on the floor who used to always do that. Like you'd see him all the time. He'd be in like a couple of big cap tech names, and then sometimes he would add in like the NASDAQ or he'd do the SPY a lot. I just got into Intel as well. Off of support level in there, VWAP as well at 30.5. We're going to jump into that short. Still in Apple. I mean, Apple's not doing a heck of a lot off VWAP. It consolidated one little move. Probably needs to test underneath, and then something can happen. And then NVIDIA, it looks like it might lose that 1,200 again. So if we lose 1,200 on NVIDIA, and if Apple loses VWAP, then everything that's at the bottom is going to be the better stuff, and that's going to be to the short side. Nick Dubb says, GM and CVS have nice daily looking charts and moving up. I know GM does because I've been looking at that while I own Ford. Well, I actually don't really have much of Ford. I've been selling, thankfully. Yeah, GM, that's a great looking chart if it could just break out the top. That's a great look, Nick Dubb. I'm just going to put on my iPad GM with the number $46.25 on it because next week, if we take out that top, then I think that's the kind of trade that you want to be interested in. Like when things make breaks of significant price levels, whether it's on the day or whether it's on the week or on the month, that's kind of where you want to be. New prices, good trend into the upside. CVS, I don't know. I haven't really looked at this in a while. How's CVS doing here? Well, okay, obviously it got destroyed recently. I didn't realize it had broken this all the way out past 60. That is a very good recovery off the bottom. When you get an earnings low like that and a reversal, What did Michael Noss say this morning? He made a good point. He's like, don't buy the dip on earnings, buy the strength after the dip. And I think that's something, we've seen it before. You saw it with CRM. I think that's something you can learn from because you don't have to have the bottom there or there. You could have it as it's breaking back out through this 58. You could have it as it's breaking back out through this local high, 59.5, 60, and you're still good. The key is that you wait for the buying to emerge and then you jump into the long position instead of trying to guess the bottom. If only someone I know had thought about that on GameStop. Oh, yeah, that's right, me.
Yeah, it's just, I mean, that's the thing. You sort of sometimes lose your way sometimes when you're in the moment. But that's what we always say. I mean, that's what I talk about with VWAP. It's not that we short things every time it gets through VWAP. I mean, a good example of this is Meta. We played the momentum back down to the short side. Now the momentum is to the upside. So we will take a very, very small reload. My book is crossed there on Meta. Why is the Meta spread? I mean, I don't know. There's not that much liquidity here, man. Like the Meta spread right now, as it's sitting here, is 30 cents.
Volumes are low, right?
I mean, the volumes are really low. Like that's why sometimes like we're getting fills, we're not getting fills. It's because we could sit on the bid here. It doesn't mean you're getting a fill by any stretch. You have to be a lot right to get a fill on these stocks because there's like it needs to swipe down. Like, look, you're not. Even though it wants to go down, the next penny is 13 pennies away, so everybody's getting executed in the middle here. So you can't post a bid and get filled unless the move is a good one. So you have to be 100% right here on this. So we'll short a little bit back into that. Again, playing the momentum is a completely different beast than sitting there and getting run over. So here come the futures right back into this level. We said that we'd want to put some more on up here. Still not at the level, but it's getting, well, now the 50 period's all the way down here. So maybe we should start thinking about this a little stronger on where we want to average into this trade. We could take something now. If I would have noticed that, we would have taken a little bit more at a different level, but we didn't. So now we'll take some more here and then see what happens with this TQ short. Looks like, yeah, 40s maybe a decent breaking spot now that I see that, we're getting a little bit lifted here on the TQs. So, all right, reloaded back in Meta and trying to get this short in the futures. But again, very, very disciplined way here on the TQQs.
Ooh, I just realized it. As I just got a little bit more in Apple and saw that NVIDIA wicked that 12,000. I keep saying 12,000. It's 1,200. You know what I mean. We're not going to 12,000 yet. 1,200 level, and then right back to the upside. So this is starting to look a little bit stronger. In the same moment, Intel did a little bit of a leg down. So if it gets back to where this move ended, which was 30.30, I'm going to take some out for sure. Obviously, this is negative, down on the day, and all that good stuff. The other thing to remember about Intel is it's had a pretty decent bottom the last couple of weeks. So the higher low is about 30.20, and then you have the $30 level. So expecting more than that, I think, doesn't make any sense on Friday. I think there's no chance this is breaking $30 today. And even the 30.20 level, I think you got to respect that the way that things are going for this stock. So we'll try to respect that on Intel. NVIDIA, I'm still not going to short. I only want to look for a long.
God.
It probably should have been 1,200, but that's hindsight. Now we're back at the 12.05.
The spread is 50 cents on Meta now. Like,
NVIDIA spread's 12.
This is what I don't understand.
That doesn't make any sense.
Here, it's 27 cents right now, just sitting here.
That's weird.
25 cents, sorry, just sitting here like this. And then it just opened up. I was like, oh, the bid's at 61. This is a nice trade. And then I looked over and I'm like, wait a second, but the ask is at 86. But either way, we just shorted more of this. So let's wait to see now what happens. I mean, if the market wants to turn around, we're bidding down here near 94. It seems like a good spot. I mean, this is where we sort of gapped higher into Meta. So we are getting closer and closer and closer to getting stopped out, of course, if this doesn't work out for us. And that is the futures. Oh, did we get more yet? No, we did not. 38s and then 45, 46 is our stopping spot right now. So hopefully we get, oh, we did it. Well, okay, well, we missed it. We're at 38 to try to get some more shorts. So yeah, it would suck if it doesn't fill us at 38 and then tanks, but darn it. All right, but at the same time, we're still in that pocket right now. We'd still rather it go down, but we were at 38 to get some more shares. Hopefully it comes in. Look, I'd rather get filled now that we're at this level. So let's see if we can, there it is. Now we have them. Now we can go down, okay? How about that? And let's see what happens right now with these futures. We just got some 38s. Our average price now, 28. So a little bit of a pullback would be nice here if we can get it. But for right now, we're waiting for 67.45. We're getting close. We're just starting to poke our head now. So here we go, man. Not lying on the sword or laying on a sword here for these futures. If it wants to go down, great. I thought the number today spooked it a little bit. And the fact that we're back to green says all you need to know. We talked about how resilient this market was. From all the way down here to now taking out levels and going higher through 1900 again, 19,000, sorry. So yeah, good little level there for the TQs. It looks like it wants to go higher now.
Yeah, but you know what's crazy? Like this can't, like Apple
market?
can't go more than 15 cents, man.
Yeah, I should have maybe shorted Apple then.
No, like I just bought the dip in Apple. It's like it goes 10, it goes like 15, and then it stalls. The futures are at a resistance spot right now, and like I see this move up. Yeah, it's not the right stock to be in. I can admit that. Like, look at the bounce on the NASDAQ. I could put the ES up. It's just I'm happy to look at the NASDAQ. And this is what you get in Apple. Yeah, let's not go to this a third time. It might be at VWAP, but where's the actual move? So it could just be a lack of volume. I'm not here to try to explain why it is or why it's not, but yeah, a little bit of a disappointment. I would have expected that bounce gives you a little bit more. I thought we'd be at like 96 there, but it bounces where it bounces. We keep talking, I keep saying that. Like it goes where it goes. That was the move. I thought Apple, by nature of its trend, should have had a bigger move up because it was relatively strong. That ends up being the wrong decision. Even if it's a winning trade, I'm sure there was something that bounced even better than this, which is going to lead me to start just scanning a couple of other things. Okay, Microsoft's really not all that strong either. A little good bounce. It didn't just do much. What is Amazon saying right now? That's like eerily the same chart. Okay, well, that's kind of a disappointment. NVIDIA, we definitely like, but that's starting to pull back. I see someone saying there's a big buyer on GameStop. I have a level 2 up, and I haven't seen it. I'll let you guys know, but I didn't see any big flash buyers on GameStop or anything like that. But around 27, you think there's a big buyer? The reverse was at 27, this little wick bottom here, but I haven't seen like a size bid at 27. If it gets down there on the book, I'll let everybody know if I see something on the book on GME, but nothing for now.
All right. So meanwhile, while Neil was going on there, we were able to get more short into Meta. But again, like this market, we're playing the short in the market. So let's take a little piece out there on Meta at 30s. You can see our average price is 50s. We got a 40, and again, the spread worked for us. So we got like a 70 there. So it allowed us to bring it back in, and we could punch out now for a winner. It's 42, so we could just punch them all out if we don't like this short. But let's just sit in Meta for a minute. I know it's greater than the market. I just thought that we could collapse there. We already broke VWAP once. We're getting a nice little jump spot here for the market. So we'll wait on Meta. I'm actually not even I'm bidding some teens to the downside here, but it's really the market. We were able to fall back in a little bit there into mid 30s for the TQQs, and we're able to get some out, but here it goes. It's gonna take out the high. We're not gonna sit in this one. So we'll have to slap an L on this if it breaks too much more than where we are right now.
It's Google that's moving this.
Is it? I mean, the whole market seems to be going right now. We'll have to take the L on this one as we're starting to go higher and higher now with this TQQ trade, unfortunately.
So Alpha, I was looking over, I'm like, well, Apple's not really doing much of anything. Well, Alphabet just bounced $1.20. So it looks like that could be part of the cause. All that said, I mean, this is the one that originally I'm like, well, can this get back into a key level? Stop talking, take chance. Can this get back into a key level? Oh, I had a stop already. Yeah, I do that all the time. I'll explain that in a second. So I already had a stop in anticipation of a 176 level, and then I get into position, and it's like, oh, we're already above 126, Neil. Let's just punch out flat. So you get into position. I like having that protection. I do it a lot. I think it's one of the cool things about one of the stop orders that we have in here is you can have it before you get to the level. So if I'm trying to go long on GameStop in front of 30, I can put a 29.70 stop or something before it even bounces. So I'm not worried about that mechanic when I get into the position. I just worry about taking the position, the stop order's in there. I can tell you right now, without that, I probably would have lost more money on GameStop going long today. But let's see, I like 176.4. If you hold this lower high that's been put in. Let's look at that. Sometimes I think it's better when you draw it. Like if I draw the trend line, like I can eyeball it and say if it breaks 40 that I'm getting out, but it's easier if I draw it for you guys, and then you can see what I'm getting at here. So into Google, giving it to 176.40. If it gets past the trend line and wicks that top, then I'll probably add to the position, showing me that it cannot break above
Oh, we almost
that
went
level.
into the money.
Yeah.
Futures trying to go down. We were so close to getting stopped out that we're actually just happy to get flat right now and be wrong on half of this trade. So like we're taking an L on half of this, but it's not real. I mean, our average price was, what was it, 32s or something like that? We just took out some 37s. And so it's not like we're taking an L. We're just trying to get less. So we're not completely out of half of it or anything like that, but we are out of, let's just say 35% for about, I don't know what it is from a handle standpoint here, but if we were short at VWAP, that would be 60, 61s. The highest it went was 72. So we're getting out now. So about 5 or 6 handles on the NASDAQ, which is nothing of a hit a little bit. But in the TQQ land, we started this at 30, and then we got an average up there at 39. So our average price is 35s. So we're just kind of flattening it right now. And the thing is that we still have this meta trade. Now, unfortunately, I already have the stop if it breaks through 496. So the problem with that is, you see this is now 30-cent spread. Now it's 20, but it gets into 30 cents. Oh, nothing. Just hearing something about avian flu or something. All right, so here we go to the downside right now for the TQ. So we are starting to get a little bit lower right now in the market. So let's see what happens. We're still short the market, so that looked like it's going to hold out good for us. In the money now on this trade. And pound them sirens again. Who's in the club right now? Maybe Ramin is tonight. I don't know. Going clubbing tonight or?
It's a Friday.
No.
What do the kids do? I've heard, I don't know if this is true, but I've heard
is like
clubbing
way more
isn't a thing
responsible.
anymore. It's not even a big deal to go out clubbing. Am I
Really?
correct
Tell
about-
that to my kid.
Am I correct about that, Ramin?
No.
Clubbing's not a big deal?
It's a big deal.
She says no, but university's
Ramin's old,
different though.
yeah.
University age, what else come on, son. University? I'm going to the bar.
Ramin's like 37, 38 years old. This is how you get canceled right away.
on, son.
Yeah. Maybe
Come on.
HR will force me to take time
Come
off.
on, son. Come on.
Maybe if I get forced to take time off. No, we've already had this discussion on the air about Ramin and Fabian, these two young kids.
They're great.
Running around here for sure. Let's go, man. And look what we've done for you so far this afternoon. Bang, 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 bang. The bangs are in the building again here as the futures downside. Meta, hopefully downside for everybody. We've just made again, it's going to be PL1 for me. Well, it won't be PL1 for me, but let's wait to see what happens. Meta right now, nice downside push. We just took some out flat 495. Come on, Meta, bring it down here. I don't know. Flushing? We'll see. I'd prefer the NASDAQ to make that move down. We just bounced off the 50 period there for the TQ. So let me just show you that trade, and then I'll throw it back to Neil. So there it is, see? So we have to get out. Whenever we see the 50 period moving average, we have to be starting to put some bids out in front of that. And that's right here at 20. So I'm actually gonna put another one right now at 24, and there it is. So let's bring it down. This is gonna be hopefully a really good trade, but the market has to follow through right now.
Well, it's trying its darndest. There, see, I can use old man terms as well. It's trying its best to get into the downside. It's a good thing we draw that trend line, but sometimes you can eyeball something like that. Like I just look at, this is the significant move, so that's an important top, and then there is the previous top, and if it happens to wick that top, go short. If it breaks it out, go long. So simple. We like the short. We'll take some out there. It's still a strong upward move, so we'll respect it. If we don't end up breaking 19,000, like that's a long ways away. Like we bounced off it once. If you put a higher low off a big level like that, you could still end up going to the upside here. So I want to make sure we're grabbing some profit in there. And Apple, okay, I said I'm not reloading Apple, but it's not really doing much. It's holding a higher low. So I'm just going to give it a break even. If it breaks underneath here, it's not really break even. It would have to break like 60s or so when I have 65. For now, this looks like it's still decently strong. So let's respect it. If it wants to go higher, fine. I don't love the reload, given that it just didn't bounce very much when the market bounced as well. So Google looking okay. I said maybe I would reshort AMC if GameStop did something, but then GameStop didn't do anything, so we're not reloading AMC.
Well, that's pretty hilarious. We just, we're up on Meta. I looked over, I was like, what the heck just happened to Meta? We got out, it punched us. We actually got a good fill, so I don't know. I'll have to double check the fill that we got because that was a great one. We actually got 46s on a 46 break. So I'm happy with, like, I don't know how that happened. Sorry, 496 on a 496 break. We got that exact price. So there must have been something reserving. So that's good. So we will take an L on the last piece, but Meta, a positive stock, but nowhere near, obviously, where it was when we were down there at $1. That's why you take that profit. I mean, our next level was the 50 period. We talked about that. And think about the 50 period. Look what just happened here again. We bounced solidly off. I'll try one more reload up here on the futures, but that was not a good sign. The fact that we came all the way down there, that's the daily chart, sorry, right into here, hit the 50 period and made that high again, virtually made that high again. Not a good sign here for the short, but we did well getting out of it, but at the end of the day, we reloaded it up here, so we'd like to see this move back in.
Oh, we do have a number.
We do?
At 3 o'clock. I should remember this. It's consumer credit. Hey, whether it moves or not, thank you, Kyle Burdett. Kyle Burdett in the chat was like, was it Kyle? I think he mentioned it. Yeah, I think he mentioned in the chat that we have a number coming up.
All right, nice.
Will it be huge? I don't know. But you never really know what can move the market. 3 o'clock. It's 3 o'clock on a Friday, so it's power hour start. Regardless, the decision I'm actually asking myself right now is, if this was the rejection of the trend to the downside on Google, and that's the move down, a wick bottom that then holds an immediate higher low, like, should I not consider reversing? Now, it hasn't broken yet, so I still think the short's valid. But if it actually holds a higher low off 76, I don't think it's worth a reload. If it holds this higher low and that's a wick bottom after that strong move, it is not a reload here on Alphabet. If anything, it's almost like a potential breakout through 176. 30, NVIDIA, what else we got going on here? NVIDIA is still stair-stepping up. That's going to help the market get to the upside if this one wants to continue to go. Derek S., Dell low of day.
Oh, shit.
Really? Really? Okay, Dell.
What's up with that?
Well, I mean, sometimes we always talk about this. It's like, where did the stock come from? And when it reverses. So when a stock goes crazy to the upside, like SMCI did, like, you get that first real correction and like it ends up being harsh. I really thought this was going to hold on to 130, this level. Apparently not. So that's nasty for Dell. It's still not completely through this earnings bottom, but you might as well be. If it closes underneath 130 bucks, yeah, this could be really headed for something. The 200 period's so far down there, maybe $100 Dell. That's a really gigantic drop. I thought it was going to consolidate and make a breakout. You can throw that out the window. I'm glad that's not going to be I'm glad I didn't put that down for my idea for a trade next week. Because
it's okay. I mean, it's not next week yet.
Well, it wouldn't have, but the thing is, it wouldn't have mattered because it didn't close above the 50 period, and it would have actually required that it closed above the 50 period, which is definitely not happening now, Dell. Yeah, not good for them. Down 5%. Not good at all.
Oh, no. Yeah, poor Dell. All right, but oh, no for that, but oh, yeah for this, because the futures are starting to pay us a little bit here as that reload. That was a good one. We did get reloaded there, so let's take some more out at 35. As we're just getting lighter, we want to make sure that we're right here on this play. It's dancing around VWAP. So I'm just always going to try to hold like 70% to see if we can at least get down into where we've been before. So let's put some bids in the mid-20s, some in the early 20s, some in the mid-20s, and see if we're able to get out of that. Oh, here it comes. All right, well, let's put a 28 then. I didn't even put a 28. We'll see if we get something there. There it is. We get a 28, Phil. Good job to get that, and a 26. All right, now we'll see if we can go lower. This is a big trade here, honestly. If this can happen for us, I don't know. It's not big now. We'll see if it goes. Oh, we made a keystroke there. We went short there by accident. Is that TQs? Yeah. We actually put some more short on. Let's get some out here at 25. All right, there it comes. Nice move back in. All right, here we go. We're short at 38s. Let's see if we do get this downside push now in the market. I mean, of course, I'm getting excited. We're making some cash, but at the same time, needs to go a little bit lower than this for us to get really, really excited. Meta, yeah. You stopped us out, but we're still positive on it. But see how dangerous this is? Now that I see the spread is like 30, 40 cents when it opens up, for me, that's going to be a puff pass, and not the kind that everyone wants. This is just like, here, you take the stock because I'm done with it. So we'll wait to see what happens there on that one. Yeah, a little bit of 420 action. coming through. I would think most people would want to wait until after they're done trading, but hey, I don't know how it affects you.
Whatever
Maybe
works.
it makes you more focused. That is up to you. Maybe Morgan Stanley will turn your account off. I mean, we
Percy
literally.
Harvin, baby, one of my favorite football players of all time.
Yeah.
Like, he was a great,
he had migraines.
He was a great player. No, he had legitimate migraines. He's a football player, and every single game he needed weed before every game. But he had legitimate.
I mean, that's why it should have been. And then the guy gets banned and all that stuff.
Such
it's too bad he's not playing now because I think it's much nicer.
For my money, I actually think he was one of the 5 most dominant college players ever. And I know Tim Tebow. Anyways, a lot of people that are Tim Tebow fans are going to get on me, but the best player on that team was Percy Harvin, not Tim Tebow.
Tim Tebow is.
I own a Percy Harvin jersey as well from Minnesota. A couple of things. One, if the range is just going to be this on Intel, which is $30.44 to $30.38. Okay, we reloaded it at 43s there, and we got some 44s. Now it's really starting to drop. So it's starting to come down in there. I wanted to thank, I don't know what the name is here.
Oh, yeah.
Mixie picked thank you for the super chat. I don't know, that's just some letters in there. Barnes & Noble prediction. Market's starting to come back in here.
Yeah.
Barnes & Noble, I really don't have a prediction for something which might go under.
Barnes & Nobles?
You know, it's hard to have a call on a company when it's looking like the end is nigh. So
Bill Nye, the science guy?
Well, I mean, it's at 18 cents. It's only going down. It's actually at all-time lows in 3 cents from now. So it's been a short till it ain't situation, and I can't really say anything else other than that. Sometimes you get these nice bounces off of like round numbers. I know Mullen did a good one off 10 cents. So sometimes you can make a trade like that. I started out penny stock trading. It was like my first profitability as a day trader. So that used to be a good time. Like you get a stock doing this and it bounces off 10 cents. You go long like 11 or something. And every now and then that would work. But outside of that, I got nothing great I can say about Barnes & Noble. Sorry. It's not looking good.
No, it sure ain't. But a few things that are looking pretty good over here, at least for now, is our trade on the futures. So we just told you that this is the kind of stuff that we were waiting for. So as it collapses in, man, we just cashed out, man. I was not expecting that kind of a move. So we take 12s, we take 04s, we take 08s, and we go enjoy a glizzy at your local sporting event. But there it is. Let's see what happens here to the downside. 67.15, still pushing. We'll hold on, but we did just clean that up. So let's see what's going on right now on all of this. Robinhood, I just saw someone ask in the chat. Yeah, look, weren't we long early on this one? Yeah, so we were long early. That was good off VWAP, right? And then back and forth and out. So that was all good. And then we averaged, and this is where we just lost on it. By the way, the futures just came back up like that out there. This is not the way the futures are trading. You have to take advantage, man. When you dip to the 50 period like that, you got to get it out. I don't know if we got a little bit excited there. But anyways, as you're seeing this one for Robinhood, I just want to explain it in case those of you that are still looking at the sticky note. We tried it at 22.50, which is the level that we wrote down. So I mean, we're here to put on the trades. It's kind of like Roaring Kitty, but I don't have like $100 million on the line right here or anything like that, where we tell you the price that we're going in at, and we do it. But unlike Roaring Kitty, we push that sell button, and we get out once it breaks through our level because, again, we've been here for a very long time and do not want to see all of our hard work get destroyed down to the downside there. So we get out and absorb that hit, but at the same time, Robinhood was good early, bad late. So that's why we're not in that name. And those futures would have been a good reload spot. I feel fine. We still have a good position on. It's about a third of what we had. So we got about a third out sort of at the 50 period and a little bit worse than that. Then a third out at these local bottoms and better than that. So now let's just hold that last third. And if we get stopped out there, it'll still be hopefully a positive trade all in all. But yeah, so far so good here into the afternoon.
Apparently, BNED just went up after I said bad things about it in Barnes & Noble. I have no idea. Look, whatever. It's going to move how it's going to move. I have no idea. They're Dell turning. So I'm going to go over a couple of things, and then I'm going to get to Mobileye, which is I just pulled up a chart. Thankfully, somebody brought it to my attention because it needs to be addressed. So Alphabet, I said I wouldn't reload it because we were holding that higher low. So I'm going to stick to that. It bounced off the same level. I'd almost want to see it show me more continuation. I scalped most of the Intel out. We still hold on to a third of that. AMC, like I said, is doing absolutely nothing. So thank goodness we're not doing much with that. Apple's still gliding higher. If it can break 96, I think we look for the high of the day. But what in the actual is going on with Mobileye? Because there's no news on it, unless I've missed something. And I asked Brendan, and he hadn't seen anything either. It's up 15% today and just broke the high of the day. The market's doing absolutely nothing, and this is flying. I was going to try to think of a pun, but I don't have a good one for Mobileye here. So whatever is going on, this is probably the strongest chart that I have seen this afternoon. Really, to the upside anyways. There's some stocks that have been looking pretty bad downside, but upside, this is about as strong as it gets. Don't like the spread or the volume right now, but if you're in this one, congratulations. If it could maybe bounce off 31, that would look pretty darn interesting. Mobileye does have a short float of 21%, but if you've been following all the names with big short floats, that hasn't been enough for them to go up today. Like Novavax got its clock cleaned. It didn't matter that they had good news. You know, they have a reason why they were squeezing, and it's down when all the other ones were down. That Faraday's to the downside. Like if there's another short name, highly shorted name that's actually going, why specific to Mobileye without a catalyst is what I'm trying to get at. Can't just be that it has 20% short float if there's no catalyst. Seems awfully random to me. Great look, but I can't think of a reason why it's doing this, and punching the top if you can't come up with a good reason to do so doesn't make sense.
That's the thing. I mean, we often talk about our risk parameters before we even enter into a trade. So I feel like we're doing that right here. We'll get some more out on the futures as here's a nice move back in. So we'll bid some 16s on that. But we're hitting that because we have a new position and it's Tesla right now. So we'll go short against here. Against basically 177.50. So it's a nice move down in. Here it is already, man. Tesla already 50 cents in the money as it comes back down. Let's see what happens right now. 176.50. I mean, we just put Tesla on here as a short, and so there it is. Like, you know, we'll put the position on and then we'll trade out of it, hopefully. So we'll put a bid down here at 176.60 or so. Maybe we get a fall in for Tesla. Hopefully we do. Good out on that one. AMC, we're just taking some outs here. I don't expect much. But you know what I do expect? Actually, it's going to be, again, we're going to be down on GameStop today, as I'm sure a lot of you probably are, unless you were short. I still expect something to happen here. I still think we could get a run in this
late day rally.
So definitely a late day rally possible here in GME and in AMC because, all right, the futures are trying to come down here, which hopefully.
Yeah, I have a stop this whole time on AMC because if for some reason GameStop just does anything and breaks I think it's 507 or 508. I have to double check. It's right in here. Like if it breaks out this top on AMC, I'm just getting out of Dodge. Like no questions asked, right? Like it's not doing anything now, but if it starts to wake up and you start really going, you don't want to get caught. Remember, these are short sell restricted too because of how badly they're beaten up, so you can get that late day rally for sure. And Ramin just pointed out to me, or in the earpiece, that there's a automotive conference or whatever on Tuesday, Deutsche Bank's Global Automotive Conference on Tuesday, in which Mobileye and Ford have some presentations. So maybe that could be leading towards a bit of a squeeze there in Mobileye. It's worth at least checking that out next week. It's a 20% short float and up 15% today. I mean, if that doesn't grab your attention, then, you know, what do you want? And the best part about it is if you want a little bit of a heads up for that and other events, check out the week ahead video, which is coming out on Sunday. So you'll have that in there. You'll have some earnings names. You'll have our picks for the week as well. Don't want to spoil them just yet. Should be in Rivian today, by the way. Not. And thankfully, that's all I got to say. The thing about Rivian is I should have had this trade 11.50. There's no question about it.
Tesla.
At the open, you know what I was doing, and I was doing the wrong thing, which was being all over GameStop. So the 11.50 held. It looks like it's pulling back a little bit, but that $10 level holds all week long. It got to 12, 11.90, and then turned around here on Rivian. As the market's rolling back over, I might just get out of this Apple trade. Cannot break 196. Remember I told you how this isn't moving? Can't break 196, market rolling over. I think we should be getting out. It's power hour. You should be doing some things. It's not doing anything. So we're going to jump out of this.
And funny story, but not that funny. We just got filled on the offer that we were waiting for Meta down here for the dollar winner. So we get it, and then we punch out immediately. Obviously, we've already got stopped out, but that short just shows me that it would have worked. All right, so we're still in the queues. I mean, this futures trade, this will now, and we just put this on, this will turn out to be PL1. Right, so there it goes right there. We'll siren this up. Let's see if it can get a little bit lower than that. Tesla, though, is my first name today, my best name. So this one could get added to it as well. If we can drop down, we just resisted 75s. I'm at 65. Let's just put a bid at 75. I mean, if we get it, we get it. We'll cancel our 65. Honestly, not that much difference. I was just hoping that it would break, but I guess it does not want to. So we'll see about a little bit of a bid here on Tesla. So it's my number one stock because we just went long. We went long early. We really liked the bid here. And was able to take it all the way up. And some of these bids is 177. Look at this, 177 there. That's a 179. So that's like $2. Okay, come on. Did we not get this bid yet? Oh my God, we're bidding 78. I just saw 79 on the bid. So we need a little more liquidity here, Tesla. Maybe Elon needs to sell a couple thousand shares to raise some capital here to buy some more Blackwell, but we'll see what happens to the downside now for Tesla. That sucks. We just missed it by 2 pennies. All right, NASDAQ trying to come back. Let's take that opportunity. We just got some more out at the bottom there, or the relative bottom for the NASDAQ. We'll see if that can continue to work. Do we go long GameStop now? I mean, what do you guys in the chat think? Because it just keeps on bouncing around here. There's two ways this story can end here today. Either we take out the low of the day, or we don't end anywhere near here, and we continue to fly. What just happened? Nothing. Okay, come on, Tesla. All right, we need to get this bid, or else I'm starting to get a little nervous here. And the reason why is because of it's getting later in the day. It's 3:10. We're waiting for some news to come thing here. It seems to happen. What about that on the futures? Chemical reaction, man? I missed that. All right, chemical reaction, man. That's a good name. I'm going to put a bid here at 14 or 15. Sorry, punch a little bit more out there on the TQs and see what's up with Mr. Chemicals there. But I think that was a good trade today on the futures, shorting VWAP into the end of the day. Again, the futures can either sit here, which if they do, I'm fine with that. We're up on it, or we tank and we don't have any more bids. So I have no more bids on this. So if this wants to fail, I'm here for that for sure. I just need to get this fill in Tesla. So one little push down and we'll be good. AMC, we just got another fill at 89. Not much happening. GME story is over, says Sebastian.
It might, well, for now it is. I don't disagree with that.
Yeah, I'm just listening to what the guy says there. I don't know.
Yeah, I think at the end of the day, like, there were moves this morning where you halt 17 times. It's not like nothing happened. But how many times has it halted, and what's the actual range this afternoon? Like, this to me is the definition of it's done for the day. Could it break out? Could something drastic happen? Obviously. The biggest and best opportunities were pretty much at the open, the long early, the reverse, or at VWAP when you know what, if you would actually just punch short the second the live stream didn't start at noon, that was maybe one of the easiest trades in complete hindsight. I just stopped out of a long when that happened, but if you were thinking, hey, he didn't show up, go short.
Yeah.
Like,
by far.
But like in my mind, I was just like, he shows up, stock goes up. Let's be in a long and building a long and see what happens instead. Like I was longing the whole way up. Like I was long here, I was adding to the position, and then even right before it opened up, I was long again at 37 and scalping it. So it's a disappointment, but it's really not doing anything. Just reload Alphabet here. It's still holding the trend. So as long as it holds this trend line, I think it's good. If it breaks the trend, we probably got to get out of Dodge as that one's starting to head back into the downside. GME, Chris J, GME earnings are not next week. One of the big things that happened this morning was that they actually released their earnings early. That was so that they could do the offering. So they announced, they filed for an offering, so they needed to have the report out so they could file for that offering. Hence, you will not get their earnings next week. That was today, and possibly they got out in front of a move to the downside. I mean, it's opportunistic, and that's exactly what you should do. You got to make that, got to get that money out of that stock increase. So now we're starting to roll over. Good thing we just got out of Apple. That was decent timing as the market's starting to come back in. Let's go.
Okay, here we go. We're here, baby. We ain't going nowhere. Look at this move on the NASDAQ, man. This is the futures trading right now. We said that I think this is P&L 1 for me for a long time is trading the NASDAQ. And I mean, there it goes to the downside. You'll see me get run over sometimes on these plays. you know, and we talk about that, risk managing, things like that. But look what's happening now. Here it goes to the downside. And again, Adara's not here, but we talk about confidence and just being able to say, sit here and put these trades on for you over and over and over again, saying that we like it, we like these levels, why I like these levels, what the rationale was for it, you know, and just putting them on. And then trying to help you guys just learn a little bit about what I'm doing. And there it is right there for Tesla, pull back down in. That's another 50-cent winner. Oh, Canada on that one. Nice move to the downside here for the overall market. And that's a cash out, man. So, I mean, cash out, yeah. That's an out at 67 flat. And then look where we sit, right at the low of the day. So, I mean, or it's not the low of the day, but the low of this recent move, yeah. So there it is, shorting the futures again. And for me, and again, it's about trading stock that we normally trade. And my whole, like, I'm red today, and it's, if you just remove GameStop, then that's not the case. So GameStop today is a problem, and yeah, we're here to admit that.
I think that's a lot of people today, but at least it was on the day where it was the biggest potential catalyst that you could have. It was the biggest news day ever for GameStop. It was earnings and like, it is what it is.
Yeah, no, I'm fine with it. I'm just saying that that's, yeah, definitely. I mean, GameStop is probably the worst P&L name for the floor today, right? So
I'd be surprised if it wasn't.
No, it is. So, so there it is. So that is what it is. Bad name today. Not too many wins here on the floor, and pretty much everybody traded it. So it just goes to show you that very, very difficult in all of this unless you really did believe in the short. And a lot of us, I only have one short area right there. So there you go. I mean, and the short was actually fine. If we just would have got out at that very bottom, great. But again, trying to hold out for that dream, all it's been doing now since he turned off was sit here. So maybe we do wait for him to come through again. Watch out for Twitter, watch out for all of that. But so far, GameStop, good trade, just pretty difficult.
I'd be surprised.
As I look at it.
I think because, like, I'm sure when he was doing the stream, like, he probably didn't have any clue, like, how it's being received and all that stuff. I'm pretty sure on reflection, he's going to have some kind of response. Like, you have to read the room and be able to see that there were a lot of disappointed people. Like, we didn't get much more out of it. Maybe his hands were tied and lawyers were telling him, don't talk about this, don't talk about that. I have no idea, but it was just weird all around. What a move. That Dell, it's weird. Like, Dell was really weak and nice turnaround. I was just talking about how it wasn't going to close above the 50 on the daily. I'm like, yeah, that's not going to happen. And then it made a bounce off the lows. It's still not going to close below the 50 on the daily because that's $132. That seems very unlikely. But that is a heck of a reversal for Dell. Like, when I see this, that hammer candle, consolidation higher and a break, that kind of looks like a long in the VWAP to me off of the 129. So I like what I'm seeing here for Dell. It's not like an SSR bounce or anything along those lines, but I think if it was down 10%, I know I'd already be in a stock that did a move like this. I'd like to see buyers out and about above 129.5. That would be a little bit more interesting. The thing about Power Hour on a Friday is it is Friday. The futures have like a 50 handle spread, not a lot. I was talking about Apple and how little that was moving. All of a sudden it breaks. I'm like, yeah, okay, we got out of Apple. We took what it gave us, but we're just not convinced in that move, and really we're mostly short, and it starts to go higher. You risk 10 cents to make 15, 20. It's okay, but I'm thinking that's going to move a heck of a lot faster than it did. And speaking of that move back to the upside, just going to go over to Intel, which might take out this top. So we reloaded this a second time. I think we're just going to jump out of this one. Again, I do not want to be fighting. It might actually give me a chance to get outbid without having to punch out above 30 and a half. So I'm going to see something like this. This is a market that is not moving. Anybody can overtrade if you want to, but I'm not going to. It breaks that top. Instead of giving it the extra to VWAP, I'm just going to jump out. If it reestablishes underneath, then I can jump back into that trade. But this is a very, very tight 10-cent range. Why am I going to lose an extra 5 cents on the way into the other side? It just doesn't make any sense. There's no massive opportunities out there in terms of price movement, so there's no point giving it that extra room. One of the things that I always like to say is, you trade the market that's in front of you and not the one that you want or you expect or you're hoping for. Because if you trade the market that you're hoping for, you're always hoping for things to do massive moves. Speaking of which, well, I meant to go to AMC, not GameStop. I'm just going to get on the bid for everything now at 480. If you're just going to do this, it's a complete waste of time. On GameStop, thankfully, Google, and one of the things that I love about this on Alphabet and just in general on trading, like I had Alphabet twice. Shorted off VWAP, lost. Short off VWAP, lost. And then you take a couple of chances on like one move. I'm going to get off the bid here. A couple of chances on one other trend line trade to adjust your strategy. Like I was shorting off of VWAP, it was breaking VWAP and then holding a resistance line. Then try something different. Shorted off a trend line and all of a sudden it starts to work. So you can go 1 for 3 or 2 for 4 in this case and then be up on the stock. I think we get a chance at the low of the day here. So everyone's got to be different, but there are different ways to skin a cat. Like usually I love that VWAP trade. Sometimes that's not the way the stock is behaving and you got to look for something else. I started out a lot of times drawing trend lines when I first traded. I had way too many of them, but I have found when you get a really big move, sometimes that trend after can be huge, or like that opening range trend, that can be good as well. It looks to me like Coinbase is still flushing, so anyone that's still in this, yikes. Crypto is taking one, like you're back underneath 69, 5% to the downside. It's just looking pretty bad here. And again, there was nothing really specific to the move into the back end of these crypto names, Bitcoin especially, Mara getting absolutely trounced. But if you see, I mean, Coinbase isn't that bad on the daily chart. Just very quickly here, I wanted to make sure I answer this question because I think it's a good one. If a trader is supposed to trade the market in front of them, why is there so much talking about ifs and past trade over and over? And I'll tell you exactly why. Because you learn from those different past trades, right? So if I take a hit on a stock, then it's giving me information. If I take a win on a stock, it's giving me information. So it's like, if you look at those trades that have occurred throughout the day, like that is your information on the day. You can look at the chart and the things that you weren't trading and have ideas based on the patterns that you see, but the things that you were in are giving you little hints as to what is going to happen in the future. That is the market in front of you. It is the trades that you made. It's a lot easier for me to go over and analyze what made more sense in GameStop because I was taking a bunch of fills in it. So I can really accurately describe, even though I sucked at it today, I can really accurately describe what was going on because I was in it the whole time, right? So it's really simple to be able to say what was different about it. So now we're actually getting tanked down in Alphabet. I think we're going to get lower today. 1900 about to break.
So I heard you guys talking about, like, let's talk about some trades that are in front of us. I mean, we've put on, like I said, the biggest trade right here on the TQs in the last 20 minutes. So we're cooking over here with that trade. We also put on Tesla for you in the last 5 minutes. That's now $1 in the money. We also put on for you Meta here in the afternoon for you. That one, although we're still up on it, so we'll ring the register on Tesla, but on Meta. But again, this name, downside. We've been talking about going short this afternoon, giving you some ideas and showing them all to you. And we're just going to be really, really enjoying the afternoon. It's funny because like sometimes I sit there and I'm like, oh man, I can't even find a winner in these markets. And then we sit here in the afternoon and we just keep on like fading it or whatever. And it just keeps on ripping our faces off. But today, no siree, we take advantage of some of these moves and then really, really bank in the afternoon there. So Guru, says Sebastian, not I, my friend. Maybe Gru, like in Despicable Me or whatever it is there, the little minions. I control the minions. I mean, around my house, we've got a bunch of minions running around, but they don't listen to me. So that would be...
Oh, I thought you were going to say the stuffy. We have like...
That'd be the opposite.
We have like 1 million stuffed animals.
Oh, yeah. My kids
still have
like those plush things. I forget what those things are called. My daughter has...
You're talking about the Squishmallows.
Squishmallows. She has about like 5 big ones and probably about 40-something small ones, and then
just keep collecting them.
They're collecting dust, and then we just recently been getting rid of a whole bunch of these other things that we have millions of.
These shorts and this move down in the market and all that good stuff brought to you, this segment, of course, in the afternoon, brought to you by American Airs, trading in the USA under the symbol AIRF, and in Canada under the symbol Wi-Fi, WIFI. This company just announced a knockout punch, a global marketing partnership with the UFC. Airs Tech is dedicated to bridging the gap between technology and wellness. AIR's tech mission is to provide cutting-edge solutions that will protect against electromagnetic radiation without disrupting everyday use of technology. This innovative company has seen consistent revenue growth in both several high-profile customers like Russell Brand and top UFC athletes. Invest in American Airs today on the OTC, AIRF, and on Wi-Fi over in the CSE. You're going to notice, I even just said those shorts and all that stuff brought to you by, but I just tapped on Google when I saw the 19,000 hold again. I mean, on a dime, like it bounced off 19,000 and right back into like 20s and all that stuff. So this is the range. It's bouncing top into the bottom. So whatever stock or you're following, it tends to be following this move. If we get back up to the top of the trend line, I short the top of the trend line again, as long as we're not breaking out the top in the futures. And then if we bounce off 19,000 and we stay in here, then we do the same thing. Ooh, GameStop just went 30 cents. That actually moved a little bit there.
GameStop's
It's
at
not.
29.
No, I just saw someone say it's ripping. 28.
Kind of.
Oh, it is. This is the biggest move this afternoon. So it kind of is ripping. You got to really zoom in to make it look better, though. There you go. There. Now I'll say it's ripping. It's $1. Probably worth getting out of AMC if that's not going to go any further to the downside.
So we just took a bid on AMC as well. There is an offer here.
Oh, wait a minute. There's 400,000. Yeah.
There's an offer here on AMC. So not a huge amount of shares, but I mean, someone's going to have to, that's 400,000 shares. So in order for it to go somewhere, it's going to have to go somewhere. So I don't know if it's going anywhere. Is there enough volume to spank that through? Potentially. That would be a good area to stop out if you didn't believe it. And again, I don't know, the MEMX quote seems to be fine, so we'll trust it. Would rather see it on the level 2 here. If it can come up to the first area, that would be nice. So let's see if it wipes down 92, and then we'll see if that level's there. Sometimes it's not supposed to be allowed, but you could put an see like, okay, now MEMX is there, we don't have the book. So maybe it is a little bit of a wipe down there. We could take advantage of that. We've really been sort of doing as we say here in covering some of these shorts. So heading into next week, Broadcom reports. So I have that as a trade idea for next week, breaking through some of the highs. We get Adobe reporting next week. Join me on the Market Recap Show, where we'll just be flying solo there, and we'll be going over some of these plays for next week. Adobe coming through, Broadcom, and there is one more.
Cisco. No, Oracle.
Oracle, yeah.
I don't know why I keep guys.
Also F-Cell. So, you know, one does not equate to the other.
Well, it's probably got a huge short flow, so there's always that.
Oh, I was going to say AMC. So AMC, I think, like, we'll have to see where that level is. But it might be worth a short until it breaks through 93, where it was. So you could put a stop at 93 and just take the short into that level. But for right now, GameStop is the one that's got sort of everyone's eye right here as it just tries to go through 30 again. Just touch 29.20s or so. Something.
Fuel Cell was a really good short the other day if you had it.
Oh, yeah? Okay.
Yeah, like, look at how clean it broke. It failed $1. Anytime a stock does this at $1, like the old game is, there's your top once, just see if it does the same thing the next day, does exactly the same thing the next day, where it breaks $1, fails at 2. This is your opportunity right at the open to short it at 99 cents. And then it just falls for the rest of the day, puts in a lower high, and falls the next day too. That is the essence of $1 fail. Remember, you got to keep compliance. Usually you're trying to stay above $1, but they report next week in a 22% short float. Maybe something good happens for them and they break out that high. I think that's not impossible. And just as fast as GameStop was up, it's right back underneath 29 even. So every single pop, it just gets faded. Ike Anderson saying Nikola. Well, you're probably answering somebody else. Nickel's not really moving much. It's above VWAP, but that's about all it's doing. So I'm interested in Google here if it gets back into that trend line. So here comes, it's kind of bouncing now. That's why I bring it up. So it's bouncing. As long as it holds the trend line, I want to short out in front of that. So that'll be like 176. Change is the top of the trend line. So I'm trying to get something in the high 90s on Alphabet.
All right, so we already took that money on the Tesla, but we are getting ready to take a little bit more. Our stop on Tesla is going to be something else on this one. So 177, it's getting close, 177.70. Things have changed a little bit here. So we'll still look to get some short on Tesla, but I'm not like, absolutely in love with this play, as we'll wait to see if we can get something. It's at the 200 period. Our stop was going to be a break of this level, so we've already we only were short 12. What are we short again right now? We're short 15s, and we got out at 75, so we took 25, 40 cents. So right now we're losing about 30 cents. All right, let's, I mean, I still like the level, but VWAP is all the way up here. All right, let's take the short then at VWAP and then see about a 178 break. I feel like that's a little bit better. The futures have come all the way up here.
Apple high day.
Yeah, see, so yeah, some of the things are starting to get going here. 177.50, we'll take something, and then a little bit higher than that. Just trying it against 177.50, 178. So that'll be the stop on that for Tesla. So just again, just trying to go through what I'm thinking about here. Tesla's red on the day, much redder than the market. If the market wants to retrace back up, great. We've already taken it out. My number one stock today will be the TQQs, as we've already sort of looked at that. Let's see if Tesla can go as well. We're more short now into AMC. Maybe we get a bid here.
Yeah, that offer is legit. And I mean, obviously, GameStop went to the downside. I was trying to get in front of the actual guy, but order.
I did.
Order. No, I was too slow.
Oh.
I was too slow.
Well,
I didn't get to the offer fast enough. But no, I'm talking about literally like just now.
Oh,
it's at 90. It's at 92. It's not moving enough to not want the actual 1 cent risk. That's the way I look at it. We're going to get early looks in about a second here. That's why I have the imbalance locator up. So individual names.
Forgot about that.
It's 330. Not much. Kenvue's there all the time. Nordstrom's an early look sell of 700,000. I forgot to check in what the heck was going on with that deal rumor. Palantir. Never mind. That's actually from this morning. There's nothing. NYCB sell. TRP doesn't really matter. So nothing big. I mean, the last one of any significance that's over 1 million shares being TRP is pretty disappointing. Not even one of those days where like Visa or something is showing you an imbalance. So I'd say that's a disappointment. No Google fill for me. Let's check in on that one. It's still trying to go higher. I want to respect this trend. If it's not going to get up there, we're running out of time. I said it before, the curl that happens, not the one you want. So if we're already starting to curl and we're holding the trend line, I'll try to get something in the 80s. Just grab the 83s. AMC is going to tick down, so 93s isn't going to happen at all. GameStop's still trying to put on a higher low. And then Apple did get to the top. So I was overall bearish, and Apple did eventually press. It was not going. It then accelerated late. At about 3:15 after I got out, the thing just started accelerating like crazy. Ooh, that just dipped. That should be good for the market coming down. So Apple got to the high of the day, and immediate rejection of said high of the day. You'd think that would be a good thing. Just going to check to see what's happening with NVIDIA. NVIDIA doing not much at all. So NVIDIA, pretty quiet. Apple's the one that seems to drag things higher at this moment. So if it gives it back, that should be good for the market going down.
Yeah, you might get that 93, man. I mean, I'm literally just putting some bids and trying not to take them all out at 91, but it's not giving me much choice. So again, even if it's just a couple thousand shares, to be able to take it out here at 91 and just make your 40 or 50 bucks, I mean, that's something too, right? So I'm not trying to sleep on that kind of a strategy either. So let's just wait to see if we do get it. I don't know. Okay, there it comes in. Now hopefully we can come back in. We are bidding some 90s with a much bigger bid down into the 80s in case we do finally get a flush on this name. So I like it. We just got an 8 or 90 fill there. We'll see if it wants to sing a little lower. I don't know if it does. All right, we just took some out. Or no, we did not. I thought we're here on the TQs. We're here to get some out at 16. So let's see if that comes back in for us. Tesla not doing anything. Meta. All right, kind of flat right now. You just mentioned Apple. Robinhood is trying to go lower, so that's not necessarily a good sign there either. I don't know. I'm just getting a little bit. I mean, I'm excited for the weekend. I mean, hopefully that should be fun. We have baseball. Tonight we have golf with the kids. We'll see if we can watch some kind of a movie. Baseball tomorrow at 9 a.m. At Hyde Park, so that's an early one because there's no parking in Hyde Park. So
I love early baseball. I'm a baseball player. Like it's like you get the early morning,
yeah,
like
you
the
get
dew on the ground. You get your coffee. It's just I don't know. I've always liked it. I don't like playing late in. I used to play in the men's league, and I used to hate having to play the evening game.
Yeah, next year they play at 8 o'clock.
Like 8 o'clock at night on a weekend. It's cool. Under the lights is cool, but on a Sunday I just never liked it because then you got the work day. I'd rather play in the morning and you have you finish the game and have a few brews.
Yeah.
Which I'm not doing on Sunday night because I was responsible like that. But hopefully the weather holds up.
Yeah,
We're supposed to get some rain. I want us to be able to practice on Sunday.
So the thing is about High Park, like we have tarps and everything.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like you have tarps on your mounds. Our practice, I said this already. Our practice diamond is
we
so
have
trash.
tarps for the whole field.
There's only one diamond that has that in Brampton, and it's there's one that the Blue Jays have this like special Blue Jay camp, but they only do special events at.
Yeah.
Nobody actually plays there, which is annoying. So the market is trying to go higher, but the trend is still holding on Alphabet. Lower highs are coming through. So we took some out again where it bounces 175.6. With only 15 minutes till it bounces, maybe it pushes down to the low at this point. I'm still on the offer of 93 in GameStop, but at some point, AMC, but at some point I just cancel the order if I don't get the fill. Apple's now pressing to the high of the day. It was just pulling back 2 seconds ago. I showed you this pulling back. I'm like, yeah, we're probably going to go back down, and the market's going down with it. No, Apple is breaking out the top, looking pretty good. It is super strong going into the end of the day here. Looks like Apple is the king. And don't forget, you got WDC next week. It's the big event. Everyone's waiting for what they're doing with AI. Also, this is your last day. At least I got a trade in on NVIDIA, so I can say that I traded it on the last day. It was $1,000 or over $1,000 because everything's going to be different come Monday. Do not be surprised when NVIDIA is $120 on Monday. No, you're not out of the money. It's just the split. We all know it's coming, and we know way more people are going to be trading this stock, which I think is going to be a good thing.
I'm so excited for that. All right, so we're just taking 3 pennies again on AMC. Our best bet was a little bit lower than that, but we did not get the fill. We got 87s or something on that fill, so we'll wait to see if it comes back in. Tesla's now, unfortunately, we just missed that reload there. We were at 50s, it went to 40s. We could have got a little bit better on that one. Now 26 cents in the money. The NASDAQ did fall in and gave us our 16s, which was the 50-period moving average. Any names you guys want us to cover? I mean, GME. I don't even know what to expect into the close.
It's just not doing nothing.
You know, we thought that we would be, you know, a little more excited about this play here today. And I am excited about it. It's just, it's kind of been dead all afternoon. As soon as we came on board here at 2 o'clock, we came on board, it was 27.75. It's 28.13.
Without looking, what price do you think UiPath is at?
All right, I'll look this way. Well, it was 12 on the report. The NASDAQ's been, I'm going to say 10.50.
Oh, you're overthinking it. 12.
12, okay.
No, you know what? I asked that question, and you did the right thing, where it's like, you wouldn't be asking if it was still at $12, would you? And the answer is yes, because someone in the chat, as you were asking what names you're looking at, what symbols can you watch, UiPath is still at 12, which does mean it's holding the bottom at least. We always talk about finding levels or at least allowing the stock to base out. It's doing it. It spent the entire week holding the low and bouncing. So maybe next week UiPath can be something off of this level. Still not out of the doldrums. They had a good day yesterday, but obviously, you know, they got destroyed. They're not the only one. Mongo was not very good at all. MongoDB had just got shellacked. You saw Dell go to the downside. That's trying to bounce. CRM did, I think, really well to bounce. CRM is the best example in the last couple of weeks of an earnings name where it goes down, it hangs out there for a day, and then the second it showed a higher low, bye-bye, just gone. The second it showed any strength, money just piled into it, and then it held the top. So you could have looked at that first day top, immediate support when it was broken. And then it double tapped, that's 230, it's at $242 with a 47 high. This is what we were talking about in terms of don't buy the dip, buy the strength after the dip. CRM's the best example of that this week, or I guess it was last week technically.
Yeah, we had CrowdStrike. I like to buy maybe some of those dips. All right, let's just see what happens here with the NASDAQ. We are bidding again at the floor or in and around 67. Oh, we just get that fill. Okay, we got 67.05, so now I don't have any more bids, so I lied. We are now waiting to see what happens here into the close for the the market. No more bids. We'll see if it goes a little bit lower than that. No more bids for Tesla. No more bids for AMC. Well,
Crowd's already back to 350.
yeah, I know. Crowd was 340 the other freaking day as well. So, I mean, that stock just continues to work as well. Again, shout out for CrowdStrike holders. What a good name that was off earnings. I mean, you had to sit there and take it for a minute. I mean, it was down into 270 or something on earnings. So, oh, that was, here it is, right there, yeah. 275, 280. And then boom, to the upside there.
It's one of those candles that if you didn't know it reported earnings, my first thought is, well, let me just clean that up because my chart's got a bad wick.
Right.
That's what it looks like. It looks like, well, it's oddly enough, I've got a couple here. So it looks like one of these. Like this didn't happen today. It didn't trade down to 310. But that's real. That is real. And if you had it, that is spectacular. Sometimes buying the immediate dip ends up working out. That happened on Palo Alto as well. Ooh, I got some wick coming to the bottom now. So the market's not doing a ton. It is rolling back over, but 175 coming into play for Alphabet. I'm just going to quickly double check. Still nothing on the imbalance locator of any interest. 10 minutes to go till we get the official imbalances. Apple is still pressing the highs. Every time this has made a big move down and bounced, it's been like, get out. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to respect what's been happening here, which is if you hold on, if every time it's bounced, holding on to something's made no sense. Every time it bounces, it goes right back up and we get the trend line again. And with only 20 minutes to go, I'm just going to stick with that. Palantir gets, JCB, sports cards. I think Palantir is going to end up in the S&P, but it's not going into the S&P today. With any luck, that goes in the S&P at the end of the year for the year-end rebalance. That would be almost ideal, I think.
Yeah, I mean, they have to figure out, they got to kick somebody out and they got to get that all going first.
I only say that because I prefer it if it happens on like a quarterly or yearly rebalance and not just like by itself. Yeah, I'd rather it get like lost in the sauce of all the other stuff that's happening. Whereas on the day it happens, if it's the only index action on that day, then literally everybody's going to be trying to trade that at the close. Right. But if it happens during quarterly or year-end rebalance, there'll be a bunch of other things going on, and then Palantir might be a good trade by itself on that day. That's just a preference on my, for day traders when you try and trade that last 10 minutes, I'd rather not every single eyeball be trying to take Palantir long. It's better if they're not.
Yeah, I like that.
It's selfish, but it's true.
Yeah, we had Uber enter the S&P, and that's what was caused a very nice move back up to the upside there as well for Uber. We're just not doing much, man. I don't really know. Trying to entertain, but at the end of the day, ooh, there's AMC. So we got 93s again there.
I canceled. I shouldn't have given up.
Yeah, well. I stayed with it, but again, who knows where it's going to go. So we'll wait to see if it goes upside or downside right now. Either way, we are in this. There it goes. Yes, sir. Give us those 91s and give us those 90s. We like you. We like you a lot right here on that trade. So again, let's go a little bit of a hot dog. It doesn't seem like it's that much, but we're trading with shares here. So it is going to be a nice little win for us on AMC. So we're just like, I'm putting in thousands and just keep on retracing it back and forth. So just taking a couple pennies on that one. So, we'll pay for a little bit of a vino or something there and make some trades off that. So good trade there, GameStop. The only thing left is a movement that's not happening on Tesla. We did have a good move back in again. We could have taken almost that same thing, but we do not. So let's wait on it and see if there is something to be said for this play now on Tesla, and then really just AMC doing nothing. I'm just thinking about what to talk about for the recap show.
I'm surprised NVIDIA has this little action going into, it's like the last day before the split.
Yeah, that's right, we can look at that.
It's inside the range. I guess if you just played 1200, like look at that. It bounced right off 12, that's like 33 or 32, something like that. And right back up to 1210. So not much happening here, especially considering what happened yesterday. Like you get a day like that yesterday, and it just goes inside the range. Sometimes it's not that complicated. Bounce off the double bottom at the open when it gets to the absolute high. So the reason, when I took the 1210 long, at least, I definitely was like, if it gets up to that top, let's respect it. Getting over 1220 or 1225 is going to be its own thing. But strong move in there for NVIDIA as well. Thank you for the super chat there, Ian Rispetto. Do you know which names are possibly up for inclusion in the S&P announcement today after the bell? If you give me a second, I'm going to throw to Sean. And there's a note that we get. That we get internally. I can pull it up. And I don't think
ask Perplexity.
You probably can. I'm just going to look up the daily note that we have and see if I can find it.
I mean, I didn't even know that was happening today. So we'll see if there is an opportunity for that as well to come through. Nike with a nice move up, someone just saying here. Yeah, we'll find out. It should be the S&P 500. Obviously, you're talking about, right? So we'll see if there is some inclusion of anything into that later on today. All right, Tesla, the TQs and everything. We're still looking at the same stuff. Let's look at GameStop. Why not? Still bouncing around $28. Here comes the futures right back into those levels. I'm not going to, like I said, we don't have any more offers or bids or anything out to do anything with. So
I don't see anything.
Yeah, there's nothing.
I'm seeing a few things on MSCI that are a bunch of deals that are still just kind of rounding up or winding down. Yeah, that's another deal, DCHP. I'm not seeing any individual names. There's a bunch of stuff going on with like Exxon and Pioneer, like stuff to clean up on deals that are happening, but I see nothing in terms of individual names on the S&P 500. I'll ask our floor manager if he sees anything as well, but yeah,
you can probably just Google it. I don't know. I didn't even realize it's happening. Palantir, yeah. I mean, Palantir is the one
it'll get added. It's just when.
Yeah, I mean, that would make sense. I mean, we've looked at Palantir. We've had Palantir on our buy list all week. And it's just, we've not been able to buy any dips because we stopped looking at it. And even today, dipped into 23 bucks. I mean, what did we write down? $23. So again, there it is right there. That's 2307, 2305. What's the low of the day? 22.99. Well, that's not true, but either way, 22 right there, 2306. So yeah, we should have had that, and we had talked about it. We like that trade, so there it is, you know. But you got to put it on. We don't have it. So Palantir, a good little look there. AMC is asleep, as is GameStop. So you'll hear me a little bit if something happens. I'm bidding 87s on this name, hoping for a flush. So when we do get the market on close imbalances, which is coming in 5 minutes, let's just sort this now by some size and see what's at the top. So TRP, so nothing to do with anything there. New Bank, New York Community Bank there as well. Kenvue, Nordstrom's, Gap. So just a bunch of New York names. And we do not see on here neither GameStop or AMC. So doesn't look like there's not too much there. Palantir's a sell, so I guess generally they're not expecting an ad, I guess, or an announcement that it's getting added today. And then there's that IPO today of Way being a bid. So some interesting stuff. We'll see what winds up happening here.
Ooh, it's right back at the support.
Yeah, that's actually, that bid is from, what time did it open at?
1 o'clock.
Yeah, so 1:36. So there it is right there. See, there's 1:36 on the imbalance, and there it is right there. Huge move up.
You know what?
And it fade right back into the level again.
To their credit, I think they were at least smart enough to wait for all that Roaring Kitty stuff to be done. Because we were joking around, it's like that's probably the wrong day to be IPOing in the middle of the day when there was when there was that live stream happening at noon. So they didn't open the stock until 1:30, and look, it ended up going up. Who knows? Maybe it would have gone up anyways, but good for them for Way. I heard someone say short Uber. Don't do it. No, you can do whatever you want to do. It's just that I own some Uber shares still that I keep contemplating whether I wanted to get out of. The irony of Mobileye being strong is, when I was considering if I wanted to sell some Uber shares, my personal account, I was like, well, what do I want to put that money to work with that's automated driving? I'm like, well, I already just dip bought Tesla. I don't know if I want to be buying Mobileye at these levels. Well, had I done that exact trade, you saw what just happened to Mobileye on the chart, and it was an opportunity to have sold Uber like in around here, going into its dump. And if you bought Mobileye at that same time, the chart speaks for itself. But Uber with a nice bounce, and it's back to the 50 period. It's going to be a test here because it already rejected the 50 period twice in this move. And if you were to draw a trend line from that rejection, if you draw the trend line from the actual top, it's no good. Like, it's already broken upside, so I think it's bullish in that realm. But I like the rejection and then that earnings top and then a bit of a double top. If it can take out 70, it looks solid on Uber. 3 minutes to go to the imbalances. I don't think I put anything new on. Gotta be honest with you.
Yeah, we got some out on AMC at 89. Oh, by the way, we'll just do this again right here. Hit the sirens. As we will take that fill on the TQs back down to 67. So we just get that. So we're pretty happy with that fill. So let's just take it and see what happens. Good out for us there. down at 67 flat. We actually got 67.05, I think it was. Yeah, 67.09, sorry. So just right here. And then Tesla, I'm just going to cancel all of this because we don't need to get run over into the close because if there's some sort of an imbalance happening for us or against us. So we will get out of that. If Tesla breaks this high, we're out. 170, it's right here basically, 177.41s. I don't even, we have such a small piece. This was never going to be a big trade. It was trying to be a big trade, but it never happened for us. It just bounced around. If we had come up and hit VWAP or like hit this, we could have thought about it, but it's just pretty dead. We'll wait to see what happens there. And honestly, we've made back, just by us scalping, we've made back money here in this afternoon and quite decent amounts of it. And just by putting on, not decent amounts, but just by putting on, again, a couple thousand shares. And Sharif actually said something that was pretty important earlier on. And it's like, we don't show you the share size. You're just going to have to, when I tell you what I'm doing and that we're using decent share size, I hope that that allows you to understand that I'm putting on a position that I consider to be relatively decent. I mean, I hope that Adair and Neil and all that and Sharif gives that same kind of a feel for you based on whatever they're doing. But again, it doesn't really matter your share size, it's your plan of action. So like, if I were to put on 20,000 shares or 1,000 shares of AMC, my stop would still be this 95 area. But if I was only putting on like 100 shares, something smaller, then you could say, okay, well, because I'm trying to manage this trade a little differently, then my risk is going to be different, right? So until you get to sort of those levels of concern, that's when you got to look and say, hey, what exactly am I doing? We put on bigger shares on AMC here because we saw 400,000 shares at 94. So I was just layering the short in front of it. But now that we're getting closer and closer to the close, there's no point in this with only 10 seconds left. So let's wait to see what is happening right now with these imbalances in 2 seconds.
Yeah, 2 seconds for the imbalances. Thank you for the. I said that about automated driving, and everyone's giving suggestions. Yeah, I've looked into Baidu. I just don't want more China risk. Apple sell 1.3 million to the downside. Well, maybe it's going down. I think I saw Monster for $1 million to buy. NYCB doesn't really matter. Amazon sell 900,000. Alphabet sell 900,000. Microsoft sell 800,000. Nordstrom's was already a sell of 700,000. We knew that. XOM, no, we don't really care about that too much. All the big cap tech names that I just read off are all sell imbalances, and I do not see any significant buys on that side either. I don't see Tesla. I don't see NVIDIA. So it was Apple, it was Amazon, it is Google, and Microsoft. Those four from 1 million to 700,000 to 800,000, all to the downside. That's going to definitely mean I got up Google too soon. Google is getting smoked today, down a full percent, holding that trend. It really gave it up late in the day. I'm going to be looking for this 173 next week. Had that marked off, and it was just not even valid the last couple of days. The way this is trading, it looks like we have a chance to get into it. Sometimes you just got to find like one idea or one thing that's working and follow the trend. It's all about the trend. I want to see Microsoft now. It's only 8 minutes to go. Yeah, Microsoft didn't really move. It was also a sell imbalance, but Microsoft moves nothing when Google is tanking. Apple barely backed off its highs. So Apple did make a high break, and even then with a sell imbalance at the highs, barely goes down. It just double topped the week's high and only pulled back 30 cents. So strong day for Apple. Maybe it does want to get to that 200 before the event. Or during the, you were saying during the event, that'd be nice too. WDC next week, we'll see what they come out with. At the end of the day, it's Apple, they'll be fine, but there's a history of sometimes selling on the events. Just saying, and if you look at where it is on the daily chart, one could be cautious if you look at the daily of Apple and understand it's got this going into the W setup on WDC.
W setup, I like that.
Well, I don't know if that's what, I think that's what it looks like, so maybe that's a setup. Maybe
yeah, right back up to the day's high. We just don't want to fail off that again. That would be bad. But again, I don't mind failing off of news because I think that can settle itself down. All right, so there it is right there. We will go another one because we just put some damage back in. We got Meta here this afternoon. We've got the NASDAQ. We got Tesla. And then we got AMC. So we don't have really anything to complain about here this afternoon. Let's just check in quickly on GameStop and just to have a quick look to see what that's doing. We just click on it on my blotter so we can see quickly on this one. So still 28.5. Join me on the recap show and we'll be going over everything that has to do with everything today. It'll be a real quick one, just gonna be myself, so you guys can join me there unless anybody wants to stay with me, Brendo or Neil. I offer a welcome to that if you want.
I actually would, except for the fact my wife has a work event, so I'm with my daughter and I don't want her to be alone. She might.
Yeah, I mean, you don't want your kid to be alone.
She'd probably like enjoy it. She's like, she'd just eat candy and all that good stuff. But I gotta like let her in the house and stuff. So
yeah, I gotta fly immediately after as well. So it'll be just at 4:30. We will cut the stream. You know, like GameStop. We'll just cut the stream there.
At least there will be.
I've got golf with the guy tonight, and then swimming. There's testing for swimming, so double activities there tonight. My wife just runs around and does it all. So I'm very, very blessed.
Can I make one last rant about the live stream?
If you, I mean,
not ours. I'm just talking about.
No, I mean you can rant on whatever you want.
One last thing about the whole, like being in a moment like that where so much is at stake, and the stock went all the way to like $70 or $67 in the aftermarket, and it was such a huge ramp up. When it got announced that there was going to be a stream, you saw what happened in the afternoon. For after all of that to end up being like 15, 20 minutes late, it's just. Like you said, the point that I don't think he cares too much,
right.
And which I don't know why. I don't know why I would have expected him to. He has no obligation to care about other people that own the stock in that moment.
Oh no, I don't mean he doesn't care about any other people. I'm just saying he's chilling.
He's already made his money.
He has 30 million.
He's got 30 in cash. So he already made the first time. So like the stakes were probably a lot different the first time GameStop rallied, right? Where you put it in early and you're like, is it going to go or is it not going to go? When you make that kind of a bet and it's already deep in. You know, that's kind of like loading up on ETH at 2000 when you've already banked when it was $1.
Right.
Like that's fine. Like no, I respect the shot and all that good stuff, but it's a lot easier to do when you're sitting pretty. And the trend is the other way on this. It is so like what it did. If you look at this, this is the last 3 days on GameStop, and it's almost symmetrical. 26 bottom. 26. It's just the way that it got there. And sometimes hindsight's going to be 20/20. Your best long opportunity was when it got back to the fifth. Double bottom at 26, it bounces off 26. Everything else just should have been a short. When you really zoom it out, how obvious does 48 short look? It looks really obvious, but if your bias was to the long side like mine, it is what it is. The mistake I made was giving up the BlackBerry short at the exact wrong moment. 355 just hit. I saw pretty much everything pair off. No Apple, no Microsoft, no Amazon, no Google anymore. They were all 700,000 to 1 million. They are now all gone, except for Apple is now 500,000 to buy. So it actually flipped from a sell to a buy on Apple because obviously Apple is a beast.
Yeah, we love Apple. Apple's been a good spot for me. We went long at 169 and change, and I know I'm thinking about getting out. We'll probably get out maybe Monday morning. We'll see at least some of it ahead of Worldwide Developers Conference. So here's GameStop. I mean, there's 50,000 shares right there. And the one thing about Roaring Kitty, and I'm going to talk about it on the after show as well, is good for him. I mean, you know, he came out, he did what he had to do, and it wasn't much, and he didn't promise anything. So, you know, nothing wrong with doing what he did. I just think a lot of us, and we talked about it here let me see my games. I don't have any trades this afternoon, and I feel pretty good about that. I mean, we were bidding down here. We were bidding 27s, but it wasn't until after this wick down right there, because I think we probably would have got stopped out on that. So we started bidding there knowing that we did have that out, but it never came back into 27. So we don't have the long. And if I did have the long, the best we would have been able to get would have been like $1.50. So, you know, good trading there into the end of the day, but just not fantastic earlier for me anyways, as the best trade, as we said, was early on. And those of us that made money there just gave it all back. As I said, it will be the #1 P&L fail today for the floor. So, but anyways, it doesn't matter. We tried it out, and I think, and I said it to a couple of the traders, you got to try it, and that's what I did. And I thought the long was going to hit. It did not. So we got to do what we got to do, and that is get out of it when it's wrong. And so you're not holding the bag and you just look down and it's just another day, right? If you hold the bag the whole way and you're long here at 36 or 37 waiting for this to happen, well, we got to stop out. at the end of the day. So no matter where this thing opens up on Monday, it doesn't matter to us. So instead of holding the bag at all these levels, you got to have stops. And I just feel like that VWAP, I mean, how good was VWAP today? Fantastic. It meant nothing early, but then right there it was the top, and right there it was the top again. So good trading today on all of these names. Let's just see what winds up happening after hours. I believe we take 30 after hours. Just like I said yesterday, after hours this thing's going to run. It went to $60. So we'll see what happens here with only 2 minutes to go.
There you go. It turns out there was supposed to be some sell action on Monster at the close for the S&P. But I can tell you it's a good thing if you were anticipating that. Monster actually bounced. And it was a buy and bounce. I don't see it anymore. It looks like it's gone at this particular moment. We only have 90 seconds to go. Just make sure all orders are canceled, all stops are out. I still have one on Alphabet, but it would have been to flatten anyways. So it's all about sticking to your plan. We talk about this all the time. Like, NVIDIA could have just been like one trade. On a normal day, NVIDIA was so clean at 1200. You just have that. You have 1210. You're good to go. You're locked and loaded. But didn't. Woulda, coulda, shoulda. All you can do was learn from it. Hope and victory. Nike rocket ship. Lulu had a good bid today. Gave some back. Nike gave some back as well. But this was one of the stronger stocks. And it is on a breakout on the daily charts. Let's acknowledge Nike. That 96 break, it happened. It's going to close above 96. So the trend is still up on this name. So the bottoms happen, higher lows, and now a breakout on Nike with less than 1 minute to go. We'll see what happens with, I'm going to have GameStop up just out of morbid curiosity. We're not trading anything. But if it does make a move, it should be at least fun to watch. Glad we didn't have any of this in the afternoon, because I think all you would have had is bamboozlement trying to overtrade it on GameStop. You could have just been in there taking every single break and then just getting paper cut after paper cut. Which is not a heck of a lot of fun. Like, because five times it looked like it was going to break out, and it did absolutely nothing on GameStop. So you got to be wary of that. Less than 20 seconds in to go here, so we're going to have the bell rung. Let's go. It is Ramin on the bell. Everyone wants to always see Ramin. Not yet. 5, 4, 3, 2, and
1.
There it is. See, you get to see Ramin ring the bell. There's always something new every single day. It was a wild, I gotta tell you, despite the fact that GameStop is the entire reason why momentum trading sucked today for me, it's fun to trade it. I can't pretend that it wasn't fun, but it certainly stunk not to have traded other things. Ultimately, it was kind of like the Super Bowl for GameStop today. Just finding that short would have been the way to go. There was a good IPO today as well. If you traded that, that was a decent one. I see Ike Anderson saying HKD, let's go. You're not going to make me pull up HKD. Nothing's happening there. The NASDAQ closes slightly down, 0.13 to the downside. We got the ES trading down about 0.17. Not a heck of a lot of movement in the overall market. The big and strong one was Apple right at the close. It's actually up 1%, and it's going to break the high of the day right at the close. So super strong. Despite a sell and bounce at the end of the day, Apple's going to end up breaking out the top. Alphabet, on the other hand, is the literal polar opposite. Like, we should have held onto that short. We didn't. Trend down. So Apple strong. Google very, very weak, down 1.4%. NVIDIA on the last day above 1,200. So you're never going to get to see, well, I shouldn't say never. You were not going to get to see NVIDIA trading in the thousands for a very, very long time, because it's going to do the split. You'll see it trading at $120 on Monday morning, or in thereabouts is what you should end up checking out there. So it is what it is. I think it's going to be great for a lot of traders, for day traders especially, because it's just easier for the price action. And then for a lot of other people, it's more about the options, right? It's a little bit less expensive to play in the options when it comes to NVIDIA. So you guys know what's up there. Bitcoin made a big move to the downside. Let's not discount that. Of course, we have Apple and WDC next week, and some earnings to go over. There's going to be a couple of earnings names. But you know what time it is. It's Friday. Have a little bit of fun with it. The market recap show is going to have a lot to go over in terms of crazy action. And you know where it was on that GME. You know where it was on Apple. You know where it was on the futures at the end of the day. You know what NVIDIA didn't do. But let's have a little bit of fun over at the desk. It's Sean and the recap show.
All right, let's go. We're ready to rock and roll. Thank you for joining us here on the Market Recap Show. I apologize, it's me by myself, so we don't have Adira. Adira, how are you doing today? I hope you're really enjoying your vacation and everything's going really well. I know you missed GameStop today, but it wasn't really that much of a play, so we'll talk about that as the show goes on. Wait a minute, there's nobody there? Okay, here we go. Well, welcome anyways. Did we get that recap board up? I sent you some of those notes there, Ramin, so let's throw that up. It was a wild one today. Thank you so much for everybody joining who is here on a Friday. We're gonna hit Hydration Nation and take a quick drink here as we go. Nice. All right, what happens in the aftermarket is something that's gonna be important, so we're gonna watch out for GameStop right now, making that move back into 27. So we will do a sector recap, but I just want to go over what the heck GameStop was doing, and I'm just getting a blank screen there, so I'm going to reload it. All right, GameStop right now hovering around 28. What sectors were moving around today? I mean, I actually didn't look at anything. Move that away. Gold, what? What's going on with GDX today? The downside move there for the Van Eck Gold Miners ETF. Let's flip this over there. I don't know what the story was with gold today, but it seems like it is a nice little downside move from $37. GDX giving it up. GLD also down 3%, 3.5%. Look at gold slipping up right now. What is it? You laughing at Ozan there in the chat? Yo, what's up, Ozan? We have gone loco. We are loco. We went loco a long time ago. I mean, this is just, yo, what's up, Spring? Hey, look, they like you a lot. Spring, thank you so much for that one. Bang on that, 10 memberships being thrown out right now. Thank you so much for that, Spring. I hope you had a fantastic day right now. Welcome, says Bears vs. Bulls. We do have the best moderator around. So normally I have notes about what all this has happened here today, but gold makes the move down, trying to break through resistance. That's all I can say right now. Resistance up top, breaking through support down here near 200. We talked about buying gold earlier, but guess what? With that jobs number today, I don't know. I thought it signaled stronger economy. If you have a stronger economy, I could see why gold might not be something that everybody's rushing to. Maybe potentially there is no recession coming down the line. I feel that we do get that jobs report today, hotter than expected, extending out the chances of a Fed rate cut until September. So I heard Citigroup today moved from July to September, the next possible rate cut. We'll go over the CME. Actually, we can do it right now. CME Fed 2.0. So I'll get that in 1 second, and we'll show that to you and see what we're looking at right now. But it was gold down. It was silver down as well. We're just going to look at these daily. You're coming into some levels now that if you don't really trust the market, then potentially want to get involved in some silver and gold. And by the way, the Freedom and Wealth podcast is about to just get real. I mean, it's already real. But episode 2, some fun little things here. Trading hacks, comply or die. You're fired, becoming a trader. Day trading debunked. The comply or die thing is pretty interesting. Oh, there's some little blue pill, red pill action I just saw there as well. But debunking, what was this one? Debunking biggest trading myths. I mean, this is another thing right here. Go find out what Brendo's all about, discussing some of those myths there. But all right, that's the Freedom and Wealth podcast. Make sure you do join that here. Hey, you guys want to see something with day trade or with real trading? Here we go. Let's go compare your profits. Let's see who made the most money yesterday at real trading. All right, we'll do that. All right, so yesterday's top traders by market. So top 10 traders yesterday. It will say today, but this is yesterday. Maybe I zoom in just a little bit there. So there we go, we can see it. Yesterday, we had someone in the company make $19,000. You see how I rounded up? It's kind of like with the credit card bill. Oh yeah, it's only 10 grand. Well, it's really 11 grand. There's 11 grand right there, TSX. Look at this. So just to show you sort of the benefit of understanding different market dynamics, right? We could sit here and trade all day, New York, NASDAQ, AMEX, futures, all of that. But at the end of the day, someone focused on the Canadian markets, and that's, again, real trading. Over 50 markets worldwide available to you to trade. NASDAQ coming in, there's Canada again, 6,000. CBOE Canada there as well. So a couple different exchanges coming through, 4,000. New York, NASDAQ, more Canada, more Canada. Wow, Amex. So maybe we should start looking at some Canadian opportunities, right there on the market. So a good little day there yesterday as we checked out what was rocking and rolling on real trading. So XME, again, the metals downside, TAN downside. I thought TAN benefits from cuts. So again, higher rates for longer, worse for solar names. So again, TAN to the downside, we talked about that. I know Neil a couple weeks ago talked about uranium and this 33 level. Well, we got to fail off that. So instead of a break long, you play it sort of the other way on resistance. Nice move up to 33, now pulling back in. Again, watch out for 28, 28.50 to come through on uranium. So it looks like a bad call on the breakout, but a lot of these names that were sort of looking good have come back in, including names like XLF, trying to hold the 50-period moving average. Financials making the move down. I hope everybody is having a great time here. Thank you so much. Wow, I didn't recognize this. MC1R. The SEC fee is 3 to 4 times higher since May 22nd. Is that, I'm gonna have to look. So I pay SEC fees on every single trade, but it's baked in. So that trade is baked in to our fees, so we don't see it. I can look at it, but is that true? SEC fees up 3.4 times since May 22nd. The SEC, again, they're gonna be there looking to make sure they investigate the different trading practices. You can look it up. They're a wing of the federal government, so maybe you should write a letter to your congressman or woman complaining about that. Flawed Thinker loves the podcast. Thank you so much for that. Flawed thinker, but your thinking is not flawed by saying that. Daryl, I was number 3 yesterday. Why wasn't I number 1? What are you talking about, Daryl? All right, let's move this over again here. All right, CME Fed rate. Oh, I like that look. I look this way, but the camera's that way. I like that. Here's the CME Fed rate target here for June. So we're looking for this to come through the 12th of June. So this is next week. We always talk about that. Once again, womp womp. I don't know if we have Ramin's doing too much work over there, but if Jerome were to phone me right now, we're going to tell him, what's up with that 0.6? Is that going to happen? It's 99% no cut. Move over to July, 91% no. Hello, Jerome? Always hangs up after 2 rings. Like, no. All right, 91% right there, chance for a cut in, chance for a stay the same, 10% chance for a cut there in July. This is the one where I think we get the cut. Now, more Citigroup today, they were in July. Now they've moved to September, so push that down the line there. As you can see, we've really changed here, right? 1 week ago, 47. Now we're up to 55%, 45% coming through right there for July. Let's check out what the rate cuts look like for November. So 50% chance that we're right here, which is that 1 cut. There's a 15% chance that we're down 2 basis points, or 50 basis points by the time we get 2 cuts into November. And the year end, let's see where we're at. So there's a 33% chance that we, or 35% chance that we end the year with 50 basis point cut from our point where we are today. So that's 2 cuts. It looks like it's being baked in, 2 cuts, but there's also a 40% chance that it's only 1 cut into year end. So we don't talk about this much on the show, but we're gonna do it right here with you right now. Again, that's your CME Fed rate tool brought to you by Real Trading. Make sure you do scan that Trade Ideas little logo right there and grab that 20% off of your Trade Ideas subscription. All right, what else was good today? Just looking here, oil looks like it got back into the upside as, again, USO has seen a little bit of a downside push. We did talk about, I'm just loading in here so I can show you my trades today, and we can talk about how stupid I was or some of the mistakes I made there on GME. Don't look at my password. OIH with the pullback in, of course, this is the services ETF. Oh, wrong password. I guess that's what happens when you put it in just a little bit too quickly. Bear with me here. SH, oh, I shouldn't say it out loud. All right, there it is. That's my password. We'll put that in and see if it works. MSOS, marijuana names upside. UNG, I mean, I don't know about you all, y'all. Shout out to Tammy. Look, we just started putting our air conditioning on. Now, I wonder about seasonality for UNG, right? So if we sort of scroll back in, you can see last June, this is it right here. Maybe take my mug off there for a minute, maybe, Ramin. Maybe I can just zoom in a little bit anyways, pull this back. So last June is right here. So, that's where we are right now. So we did have a push in to the lows of June, at the beginning of June, and then a nice move up. So that's $23. By the time, at the end of the summer, let's just say mid of August, we were up to 32, so 23 up to 32. That seemed to have been the high of the summer. And of course, this is very, very basic. We're literally looking at only last year, so we haven't necessarily strung this out, but some nice bottoms there before eventually breaking in. I say watch out for this 200 period. I would fade nat gas. Nat gas, there's simply an abundance of nat gas out there. And really, as of right now, obviously there's some base cases for it, but we continue to refine and we continue to look at that nasty crude oil. So I would say you wait for UNG. Needs to get broken through. Just too much supply right now. Very easy to come across and not too much case uses for nat gas. As again, there are probably a lot of bulls out there that will turn that around, but why else does natural gas look like this? Let's go to the weekly here on UNG. This was just back in 2022, you had $134. Now you're down to $20. So a lot of destruction here with natural gas fund UNG as it continues to make moves. So for some reason, the XLK was up today. Nice move. We hadn't looked at it on the weekly. NASDAQ continues to scream higher. On a daily chart, we are closing in and around all-time highs. So this is XLK. I chart the Qs, which is at all-time highs. So either way, two of the same. NVIDIA today, wow. Again, a nice move, held 1200. I actually didn't look at this at all today, so let's look at it together for the first time and maybe go to a 3-minute chart. What were some trading opportunities today in NVIDIA? You do see a great bottom in and around this 1188 area. Really held before ripping up. We got to 1215. Look at the pre-market high of 1220. That continues to hold. We'll see it. Congratulations to anybody that's been NVIDIA. It has been a big trade, but we have breaking news. Pretty dramatic, right? I feel like Roaring Kitty. I should have came back there with like a cast on and everything like that. The breaking news is this is your last day to trade NVIDIA at $1,200 until it comes back there again in about a couple years, because we're going 10 to 1. So on Monday now, the price of NVIDIA should be, and I believe it is based on the closing price of today. So you guys can find out if that's wrong or right, but they got to start repricing these things. So the closing price of NVIDIA about 1208 or so. So I don't know, but I feel like this is going to be a $120 name there on Monday. So, oh boy. Shout out to my guy Obi over there. We are very excited for that because we are wanting to trade this name down at 120. But you're going to say, hey, what does that mean for options? What does that mean for the price of your positions in your account? They're all just going to get divided. So divided by 10, multiplied by 10 for your shares. So if you have 1 share of NVIDIA, you now have 11, right? So it's going to get divided up, and that's what's going to happen. The math will make sense. Same thing for your options. Same thing for the premiums. They just all split real easy down at 10 to 1. So that makes a lot of sense for NVDA. So we'll get that going on that. Marijuana stocks, again, another upside move today. I don't know, kind of boring for me, as we'll look to see. Again, Tilray. Tilray is an exciting name because of the short float. What is their short float? Again, 14%. What is CGC short float? 15%. The short float on the ETF should be relatively nothing yet. They don't even have that on here. So those are the two big names, CGC and Tilray. Again, 15%, but look at the chart, especially if you look at a daily chart, absolutely destroyed, right? All the way down into $3, $7 now. Killed. Fade all. You would say, hey, what about this move up? Yeah, you should have got out. We talk about that all the time. Play the dips, but when you start to pop on news, some of these marijuana stocks definitely worth cashing out on. So there it goes. So that's what's happening right there. Have we logged into some of our trades today? Because I do want to talk about GME. So let's go over to that right now. Well, what did we have today? We had the day that we were all waiting for. And it was supposed to be the event that sort of sparked the rally in GME. So let's just have a quick look to see what did happen when GameStop did open today. So off the open, let me just go into a 3-minute chart so we can all see this just a little bit better. So right there, we started the day with a huge move. We halted twice. We opened up at $37, $38 to much like celebration as everybody was starting to load into their accounts, thinking that this was going to be the day. But why did we think that really early? I don't know, and I'm going to discuss my trades in a couple minutes. But just off the open, we get really excited. We had $48, which also coincides with $48.50, the pre-market high. But there's the dump, and it just started. And it happened until he came on at 12 o'clock, right? Wrong. I'm not sure when Roaring Kitty came on. I would say it was about 12:30-ish, maybe 12:20. Those of you in the chat would be able to find out when exactly that was. Let me go over here and check here just to see. It must have been this halt right there. So I would say he turned on the cameras at about 12:25, and we were getting excited, man. He had that nice little open, that nice little preview. It was a cat. The music was going. I was like, yeah, baby, let's go. Show your positions. Let's go. 12:25, so there we go. So that's the move right there. Look at this. There's 12:24. He comes on, and the very first move is a banger. It's a halt to the upside. So as long as you had patience and you saw the countdown and you marketed in, you might have been able to get some shares there. But guess what your boy did? We started trading this basically like a madman. I've never even seen that. Mad Men? That's a pretty good show, isn't it? All right, NY, that should be the next thing on my list. What should I watch, Succession or Mad Men? That would, Succession, okay, well, so Ramin just answered that, so please do not put it in the chat. All right, so this is what we did on GameStop. I'm here to tell you today this was the biggest loser for me today, and maybe it's because we didn't have that much faith, but at the end of the day, I'm glad we didn't, because GameStop virtually ends at the low of the day. So let's just forget about it. We can't see what's happening, right? So let's pretend that we don't know what's going to happen and sort of zoom this back out. So, all right, early on, we get long early. We get stopped out right when the market opens up because, again, it kind of went into a halt state. We got faked out on that first halt state. So this is like a wash. We're basically down nothing. Well, we're down, but it's not that much. Then we go bang, bang into the upside, and boom goes the dynamite up there. We start to go long, and this is when we're like, okay, we actually get out at 46.40 for like $5 or $6 winner. Hit it, halts. We're actually long before the halt. So we're long here at 39. It halts at 39.60. Then we start to get going again, $44, and we actually take a 44 long. Like, how crazy does that seem? But then it rips all the way up. And again, here's where all the money's made. We're celebrating. We're like, yeah, this is great. All long live GameStop. Didn't live long. It's Hydration Nation. Shout out to Shakib, Jarhead, all the original members of Hydration Nation, and everybody that's a member here as well today. And over 2,400 of you watching. Thank you. I thought there'd maybe be like less than that, but hey, let's go with GameStop. There it is. So there's the move down. Then we cover some more here, then the fall in, then we get out. So we actually take another long at 45, hoping that holds. We flatten it all out at the halt spot. So we're up now on GameStop, and we're like feeling pretty good about it. The stock halts. We let it fall all the way down. Halts again there at 40 bucks. Halts at 44. Halts at 40. Halts again. 3 straight in a row, and we're not in this. So that's a lot of volatility. You can see by the broken candles down here. No trading, no trading, no trading. So 5 or 6 halts right away. Opens back up. So what do we start to do? We start defending these lows. Well, defend it not for that long. It starts to come back in here. We get a little bit out. We start buying the dips into these lows, and then wah, wah. This is really the worst trade for me right here. It's just we get stopped out at 34, then we buy some back again, and we get some back at 36. Outs here, 36.50, 37, before it starts to fall back again. We take one more long, get stopped out there, and reverse into the short, which starts to pay us. Then it just starts to go back and forth, and this is where it's 11 o'clock. So now we're just flat now. I feel like, although my net was probably red at this point, pretty flat, not much damage done. Then as the kitty starts to get ready to go, we're all like, all right, volume still really strong into 12 o'clock. Well, this is 12 o'clock, and I actually bought right before we went on air, or he went on air, but he did not. When he did not come, we had a drop from 38 all the way down to 35. That's 10% down with a halt. So we fail again and flatten out our trade there. But at the end of the day, it wasn't really that bad because we were buying heading into it, but this definitely puts us red. Then all of a sudden, we said, you know what, we gotta wait. So we kind of waited, we traded a little bit in here, kind of flat, kind of not. Then when he comes on board right now at 12.25, that's where it starts to rip up to the upside. And we said, okay, then let's break through 37 and go higher. The problem is we buy 37s and then sell when it breaks back down below 35.50, another $1.50 hit. So we're just taking the hits. We finally buy a halt. So here we go, buy 31s, out 32, out 32.50, make it back before holding that last piece and getting stopped at 28. And then there was no trading into the end of the day for myself. So again, a little bit of a breakdown. Our biggest hit was about $1.50 or $2. So again, we didn't dig our grave on this stock today. It just wasn't the money maker that we thought it was or was going to be, and we wound up taking the L on GameStop. Just too much back and forth. And again, I'm pretty happy getting stopped out that last little tick. Our last shot was right there. This was one of our biggest positions, so we're able to take it out, but then net flat on it. So we did have a chance to go green on the stock at the end of the day, but our last trade was 50-50. So a winner there for about $1.50, and then eventually a loser, that's $31 out there, 29 break lower. So $1.50 winner on half of it, $2 loser on the other half, putting us red on GameStop. And then look, honestly, just real disappointing into the close. I even thought that we had a chance to rip there into the close, and we didn't get much action on that. So it is what it is. Yeah, Vin. GME did not just jump to 63, but I do like that. This is a live level 2 right now. Our quotes are still trading, so live level 2 of GameStop right now, 27.95. These are the prints going on. This is time stamped. So right now, GameStop is $28. So just hovering around, not much actionable events on GameStop there into the close. One of my best trades of the day, though, was the TQs. But let's just go over quickly some of those earnings calls into next week. So, all right, next week's big earnings plays. We've talked about this with Danielle Shea. It's going to be Broadcom. I put this out. Check it out. The week ahead's going out tomorrow morning? Sunday with the dare. Tomorrow's podcast. Check that out, Freedom and Wealth Podcast. Make sure you subscribe. Oh, did we get to 1,000 subscribers on that one? Probably not, but let me just double check it. This is coming out tomorrow, episode 2. Our first episode did much better, man. It almost tripled the amount of subscribers that we had. 923 subscribers. Go check it out. It's broken up into all small clips. It's real fun. It's your Freedom and Wealth Podcast coming out tomorrow with Brendan and I, where we talk not about trading at all. We talk about trading, but more as an opportunity to earn income, not individual stocks, not plays, but just how can you accumulate wealth through trading, and then other ideas as well. House hacks, things like that as you go. But tax planning, compounding, things like that. So again, very, very important to us that you guys like and subscribe on that. Over 2,100 watching now. If you haven't done it, go. I put out for a trade idea into next week, Broadcom. Again, Broadcom usually a beat on earnings. If they could beat on earnings and then guide, which we saw NVIDIA guide forward, I think Broadcom should be able to do that as well. I'm expecting a beat for Broadcom. Their 52-week high is right here at $14.45. It's only $40, 1% away on that, and we'll be back up to there for Broadcom. I believe we take out the highs. Their report comes next week, the 12th. So post-market on the 12th, which I believe, let me just check the old calendar here. The 12th is Wednesday. I said the 11th was Monday. The 11th is Tuesday. And that brings me to another name that reports, Oracle. Oracle's a funny one. I mean, you guys gave this name to Obi in the midday. Obi covered it. But again, a bounce off the 200 period. I really like that bounce. To me, whenever you test highs, come back in, make a bottom, kind of make that top again, test. I would like to see us break above 127, which is this level right here, heading into the report. So that would be nice. So we have till Wednesday for AVGO. We have till Tuesday night for Oracle. So that's going to be another one. Old tech name coming to report. Again, we know that there's strength in the chip space, but there's strength on server side. There's strength in data, and that's Oracle. So we'll see if Oracle can hold out. Snowflake has been going the other way, so that's giving me a little bit of pause for concern. The other one, we have FCell reporting next week. That's a small name, but a high short float, 22%. The day on that one coming, 22% right there, short float for FCell. That day is June 10th, so that comes Monday. Watch out for a shorting opportunity on FCell. And then the one that I've been wrong on, but we haven't really had too much opportunity to trade out of it, Adobe. So Adobe, again, kind of a wrong look on this, breaking through the 200 period. We were buying it down here at 531. It did get up to 600 again, but then when you gap lower on that earnings, you get sort of that move where you break lower. You gotta pay attention into Adobe for sure. So watch out for them. Again, Adobe's getting hit. If we can go to the daily chart on this one, and then we'll watch out. Adobe getting hit. What do you want, Obi? Not to shut the gate? Is that what Obi just said? Okay. Shout out to Obi there. Thanks for filling in today, my guy. 470 on Adobe. Adobe's been a tough play because of AI. And again, we talked about this earlier. Like, what if Apple comes out with something where it just makes editing, and it's already pretty easy on their new iPad? I forget what the new system was called, but there's a photo editing out there now. I think it's just Editor, where you could do a heck of a lot with the base model of Apple's photo editor. So if that starts to hit the iPhone and is really awesome, I worry about Canva, stuff like that with Adobe. Adobe did have that block as well of that website. Oh, it's a website what's it? Adobe can never die. Well, Adobe is sort of dying a little bit right now. I like Adobe, and I think you want to buy the best names, and Adobe would be one of those. So to look forward to next week, Adobe, Apple. Apple takes out highs, by the way, on that Worldwide Developer Conference. So I think, were you a Tesla or an Apple? You were a Tesla, too. You were Apple, so Ramin will win again on that one. All right, what was a pretty red day. Thank you so much for joining us. We do have to do roll call though, so let's do that right now to see who stayed late with us. Over 2,000 still. I got to say thank you so much for that. That means a lot. As we'll discuss a little bit of earnings heading into next week, we'll do the roll call. And I just want to say thank you for sure to Bears versus Bulls, man. I can imagine that was probably a little crazy while we did have GameStop going today and Roaring Kitty. So thank you to Bears versus Bulls. I know that's tough to watch different streams and get the vibe. So thank you so much for that. But who's here right now is all that we really care about. CompuCare, thank you so much for staying with us. NYC Urbanista. Great name right there. Sadly, I've seen that happen to other stocks. Yeah, look, I mean, some of these stocks will eventually get rained on, and GME, let's wait to see what happens. Maybe we'll get some more color into the plan there heading into next week. Again, surprise drop of earnings today, plus the 75 million offering. That was a problem for GameStop. So you got to think about technicals sometimes, not just the meme aspect, but I still don't think GameStop is dead. I think it rises again next week. So we'll wait to see if that was there. Today was wild, says Bears vs. Bulls. Shout out to that guy. Anthony Kerr, hey, you're welcome, man. Thank you to everything that I do. Thank you for being here. I mean, I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you. So let's leave it at that. Neil Roberts was. Ike Anderson, someone's phoning me right now. Looks like Jerome got my personal number. Wow. Okay. Shadow Market. What's up to Jim? Hugh is here as well. Jam Cloy's here. Daniel, Sebastian. He's always here. Thank you so much, Sebastian, for the support. Bristol's here. Bigley Down Under. Yeah, they did crash their own stock today. That is right. And that's why you have to look forward to reasons why stocks are going down, not just always hodling things. The Piper, you're welcome. Thank you to Bears vs. Bulls as well. Scott Molnar says, Sean, with your energy, you don't need anyone. Thank you for that. I mean, look what we've achieved in the last 3 years. I mean, I agree. I mean, that's why we're here, you know. But I guess I was actually debating this. You guys let me know. I think Neil does a fantastic job. So what I was thinking about doing is maybe into the summer, we just split it up. In the summer so we can both enjoy the summer, get home earlier, but still make sure that this recap show bumps for you. So, you know, Neil's awesome. I'll be here as well. We'll divide it up heading into next week and so on and so forth. But I do appreciate it, man. We've been doing this solo now for almost a year. So it's been really good. We've had Adara join us here on the after show, and that's been great as well as she takes a vacay. Real traders, or not just real traders, traders stay late. Oh, hey, Adara, you just saw that there. She's been great. Thank you. Thank you to Ramin. Oh, there she is. Hey, Ramin. There we go. There's my partner in crime. So thanks to Ramin. Looking great there in the spot as we are late, but we're not going to be late for too much longer. So I want to say thank you to everybody. We see happy Friday. So happy Friday to you and everybody else. Ramin, you got any plans? A lot. There's a lot happening, and there should be a lot happening right now. The weather is frightful right now, but it will be delightful this weekend. So make sure, hit up some patios, spend some time with your loved ones, that's for sure, and enjoy every moment that you have, because no matter what happened today, there's always tomorrow, and be thankful for that. I'll see everybody on Monday, voice pending. See you then. Ciao. Have a great weekend. Thanks, everybody.